Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
We have made it to the end of the week. Thank God it's Friday. Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Brad's back.
I'm back in the building. Back in the building, baby.
G. Bush is here. The Indians, Guardians, are coming home. And they're in first place. Technically, they're still in first place. It's by percentage points, but they're still in first place.
I feel like they should win every game right now.
Yeah,
and I was disappointed they didn't win yesterday.
Later in the show, we're going to get into this, but I'm going to kill Franmil Reyes for something he did yesterday that I think cost the Guardians a chance to win that game. And I hate doing it because I love Reyes. But he did something yesterday that I couldn't believe it as I was watching it. I watched it back 3 times.
How about Ernie Clement trying to sack bunt in the 9th inning? What was that?
Yeah, on his own. I wasn't a sack bunt. He was trying to hit for a bunt for a base hit.
That's still stupid.
If it works, he's a genius, but that's a high-risk, high-reward move. All right, also, let's bring him in. DeQuell Jackson joins us today on early in the show. DeQuell, I don't know we've ever had you at 11:01. Welcome.
No, I can get used to this. What's up, fellas?
Last week he was in studio with us at the beginning of the show.
Let me tell you something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I thought the electricity here in the studio was off the chart when you came in here, primarily because you brought whiskey and we all did a shot.
Absolutely. I always keep whiskey with me. I'm looking at the bottle right now as we speak, but I'll wait till the end of the show to toast you guys.
All right, that's very good.
It was a great
tradition.
Now, Jay, does he have is he the all-time view leader? When he's on, is he the all-time amount of views in one day?
I actually can confirm, not one day, but if you combine total appearances, DeQuell is landslide above everyone else.
There you go, bro.
Hey, you know what?
There you go.
Hey, you need to drink to that.
It's time for it. It's time for it.
It's my man.
Hey, yes, sir.
Serious.
This is my man right here.
I have to ask this, Brad, did you get your Balvenie?
No, I
didn't drink it all.
I just heard about it just when I walked in. But I tell you what,
Okay.
I'm on my way to Maryland after this, baby.
For real, I got you covered,
I think Mike drank the whole bottle already.
Mike took the bottle. Mike took Brad's bottle.
Hold on, Brad, what did I tell you before the show today?
I have something for you after the thing. I said, my man DeQuell. That's what I said. Right off the rip.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you got your bottle because we had a very good time in the studio.
Listen. I'm glad. I'm sorry I missed it, but I saw it. I said, listen here. This man is first class.
Yeah,
yes,
he
he is.
The only thing missing were cigars. I know we can't smoke in the studio. I'm pretty sure they don't want us doing shots, so that might be the first and last time we ever do shots.
Well, we can go out on the balcony.
Wait,
afterwards.
McNuggets has an update.
So, true story.
Okay.
Adam Ostro, who is Tegna's
He's the boss.
head honcho of this
He's the
project,
boss.
bought the same
boy.
bottle of whiskey DeQuell bought in for us that afternoon. He said it was inspired by our shot and bought that exact same bottle.
There we
True
go.
story, DeQuell, true story.
Yeah.
I need
That's
to find out
awesome.
from Adam how he liked it because I loved it. I thought it was smooth.
And by the way, can we work on a contract with the big man upstairs? Can we do a shot after every time the Browns win? If they win, they win,
that's a great idea.
Right, we salute.
That
right?
is.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
So raise a glass Monday.
Well, they shot down our cursing, so at least we can get.
at least we drink.
did they shoot down our cursing or did they just say curb the cursing?
They wanted us to curb the cursing.
I plead the fifth.
We have been getting a little out of hand with it.
Yeah, especially Jay yesterday.
That's good to know.
Now wait a minute. One of us said, and I'm not going to repeat it because I'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
No, we have a game to play, so let's
right.
let's not get down
By the way,
that.
let me ask DeQuell this
Okay.
before we get into this game. DeQuell, this time of year,
Yes.
right before, so like we got, 4 weeks till training camp starts, all the OTAs, mini camps over. Is this the time, like when you were playing, where you're going on vacation, are you like taking it easy for a couple of weeks, or did you feel like, hey, I got to be working, or did it change from when you were a young player to when you're a veteran?
No, I pretty much kept the same routine. The first 2 weeks, I would go travel, And then after that, it was back to the drawing board. I was watching what I ate. I was working out like crazy, but no more than 2 weeks. And as I got older, I reduced it to a week. We could go vacation, and after that, I spent the next 3 weeks just training, making sure I had my legs underneath me. Because everyone knows when you start training camp, no one wants to start training camp, not failing a run test, because most of these programs have run tests you have to pass. And if you don't pass them, well, you have to wake up the next morning at 4 a.m. to rerun the test until you pass it. So I always wanted to avoid that as much as I could.
Were you able to relax on vacation? Like when you went on vacation, were you thinking about football the whole time?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to just completely unravel. But the first 2 or 3 days, I'll drink and eat whatever I wanted, and then you felt guilty about drinking or eating whatever you wanted the end of the week, because you know what that next week was going to look like for you. So it was a back and forth game, but I managed to figure it out though.
And then what about tell about this, DeQuell? What about this? When you got the young hungry ones coming after you, right? The ones that they want to eat where you eat. Like, you're not eating here today, buddy. I don't know. Somebody told you wrong. No steak over here, buddy. Got to defend your territory.
And that was my problem. That was my problem when I played, Brad. I burned so many calories. I loved a good steak. That was one point I was eating like 2 or 3 steaks a week, and it got bad. It got pretty bad. But as I got older, I realized I couldn't put on all that red meat and run it off like I did when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly.
We can all attest to that. We can all attest to that.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Hey, DeQuell, we're going to play a game. I guess it's the quarterback dating game. McNuggets, explain what we're going to do here. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I hope so. I filled DeQuell in this
morning.
I hope so. Here's what we got. We have 5 quarterbacks that are somehow related to the Browns. 5 quarterbacks we've talked about that in the case Deshaun Watson gets suspended for a significant amount of time, it's like a dating game. We're going to pick which backup quarterback you'd want based on a blind resume. So we have their blind resumes, and I have 3 fun facts about each quarterback. After I present the facts, you guys as a panel can ask 2 questions. I will either answer them truthfully or tell you I can't give you the answer because it'll give it away. And then we're going to draft quarterbacks. DeQuell goes first, Bull, Brad, G, and Jay, you're last. So you're going to get stuck with
I don't get to pick. Whoever's left is my guy.
So if you guys are ready.
Was this done on a blind draw, or how was this order decided?
We needed to go in order so it didn't bounce back and forth, and DeQuell's my guy, so he went first.
DeQuell's getting
I
a
like
field
kissing
advantage.
up to DeQuell.
All right.
That's my guy. Even though he didn't bring me whiskey, but he's still my guy. So
all right, so let the games begin.
Let's go with the first one. Contestant number 1. Here are his career stats, and here are 3 fun facts about contestant 1. I am a Super Bowl champion. I got sacked in 2017 more than any other quarterback in the league, and I'm 1-0 in my career against the Browns as a starter. 2 questions. The floor is yours.
Is this for me?
It's for the panel. Whoever wants to ask.
So
panel.
Does anybody have a probing question that will help us get to the bottom of who this is?
Yes.
Super Bowl champion.
Did he play? Has he played for one franchise multiple times?
I do not believe so.
Okay. I thought it was Nick Foles, but Super Bowl champion.
No, you know what? I think
2017.
I think
this is tough.
I think it is Nick Foles. I do.
But he played for the Eagles twice.
Well, let me ask you this.
It has to be.
But McNuggets might not know that he was.
This is the second question. G. Bush, what's your question?
What college did he go to?
Okay.
NC State.
That's great.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I know that. I know
okay.
that.
Yeah, I got it.
Don't guess. Don't guess.
Okay,
so wait till the end.
So DeQuell definitely has this one.
Okay. All right, contestant number 2. Steve, let's take the next one. Let's get some fun facts about contestant number 2. He has a degree in aerospace engineering.
I already know which one this is.
I know.
He originally committed to Arizona State as a sophomore in high school, and he beat out NFL legend Nathan Peterman for a starting job in college.
We don't need questions. Do we need questions on this?
Does anyone need questions for contestant number 2?
I don't think we do.
No.
I think we're good.
This is in the bag.
Okay. Jay, that might be yours at the end. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, you know what? I guarantee that's who I get stuck with. I guarantee that's who I get stuck with.
All right, now they get a little tougher. All right, let's go to contestant number 3, Steve. Fun fact number 1, I threw for 53 touchdowns as a senior in college, breaking my school's record, which is held by a former All-Pro NFL quarterback.
Yeah, that was easy. I got that one. I actually wrote that one down before I had any clues.
Okay, show off, Jay. The other two fun facts, just for fun.
I know the stats. I mean, when you look at the stats, it's obvious who that is.
All right, then we're not going to even ask questions on that one.
Wait a minute.
It's not. Wait a minute.
No, I know.
It's not so obvious.
Right.
Okay.
We all know. You know, but we don't know.
DeQuell, you got a question on this one? Or you want to get the other two fun facts?
Give us the 2 fun facts.
The other 2 fun facts, I am 2-0 in my career against the Browns as a starter, and I've taken snaps in 2 separate Super Bowls.
Okay. All right. I do
now
know
we know,
this.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to ask a question, DeQuell?
You want to ask a question?
DeQuell, ask a question.
Yeah. So
if
how many
ask
teams
where
has
he went
this
to
person?
college, you're going to know it.
So I'm not going to answer that question.
Good way to go, McNuggets.
Okay, so has he played for more than 5 NFL teams?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'm off base on this one.
Ask him
I
how
don't know.
many Super Bowls he's been to.
There should be 2.
The answer's 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
3?
3?
Yep.
All right. Number 4.
Number
Okay,
4,
I guess I had
Steve.
too much whiskey.
Number 4, I hold the NFL record as the youngest quarterback to ever post a QB rating above 110 in a single game. I'm 1-1 against the Browns as a starter, and I train with fellow NFL QBs Josh Allen and Kyle Allen in the offseason.
Oh, I don't know this one.
Did this guy?
That's very vague.
Intentionally.
Did this guy have a monster rookie season?
No.
Okay, now we got one question left, so guys,
Sorry, all
let's
right.
kind of put our heads together here and find out, I think alma mater is always a good one.
That's always good. That's
Go
always
ahead.
good.
You want to go that, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
DeQuell, are you good
let's
with
do
that? Okay.
Yes,
We
I'm
confirm.
great with that.
I'm
We
going
all-
to give you a conference.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
come on.
He's a Pac-12
Come on.
Pac-12 quarterback.
Read
Let's see the
the
stats again.
situation again.
Steve, can we go back
are
to
you
the
allowed
stats?
to
Oh, I
reread?
think I got it. I think
Yes.
I got it.
Pac-10.
Yeah.
They're the stats real quick. You got 5 seconds to look at these before we cut to our final
Yeah, I got it.
blind quarterback dating contestant. Steve, let's cut directly to 11 here. And this one has 4 fun facts. My Wikipedia page is 6 times as long as anyone else's on the list.
Yeah, I know who this is.
I hold 18 passing records for an NFL franchise. I only threw 8 interceptions in my entire high school career. And I'm 0-1 with an asterisk against the Browns in my career. And that 1 has a large asterisk next to it. I'll explain later.
What?
So
Guys,
he probably
I'm-
was
I
a
don't know.
backup
I
at
have
the
no
time
clue.
that the Browns beat that team that he played for. That's my guess. That's just my guess.
Mikey.
If he
Yes,
has
sir.
an
Bull.
asterisk.
That's a major. Okay.
It's a major asterisk.
Okay.
You got to think outside the box on the asterisk.
Yeah, he's trying. Okay.
This is a tough
I won't
question.
give it
Yeah,
away
yeah.
because I know who.
This
the
is a
last
tough
one
You do know who the last one is? I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
DeQuell, do you want to ask a question?
I don't. I don't even know where to begin.
Like,
I know. What about alma mater? Or is McNuggets going to play?
No,
give
he
us
can't.
a
He can't give you the
Yeah.
alma mater.
It would give it
Can you
away.
reread?
Texas Tech.
Can you reread?
Oh.
Okay, Texas Tech.
Oh, that's.
Bull,
Yeah,
don't,
okay.
Bull, don't say a damn word. I know
Okay,
you know
okay.
this.
I know
Bull,
what
just
you're
say
doing.
it.
Let us see the stats
Just
again.
say it.
Bull, go back. Not Bull. Steve,
Yeah.
can we go back to 11, please? And then it's draft time to Quell. So now that you've seen all 5, we'll let you look at this one more time. You get to
Only know
draft
2.
contestant 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 with your first pick.
See, I'm going to get stuck with. I know I'm going to get stuck with.
Oh my
I did Jay
gosh.
dirty. I'm sorry,
You
Jay.
really did me dirty on this.
Oh my goodness. So here's the thing. I don't know. I only know 2 of the 5, and that's a problem. So I can only choose from the 2, and literally 1 doesn't have enough experience. 1 is currently on the roster right now, and I don't see him playing anytime soon. So I have to go with Jacoby Brissett.
Do you know
Quarterback
which
from NC State.
contestant that was?
Yes, contested number 1.
Let's see if he's right, Steve. DeQuell nailed it. Jacoby Brissett,
Yes.
DeQuell Jackson, first pick off the board.
Because you
Out
guys
of the
can see
bowl.
my hands right here.
I'm gonna go
cheat
with
sheet.
contestant number 3, which is Jimmy Garoppolo.
yeah, he took
That
mine.
is also
who I
correct.
wanted. That's
Also
who I wanted
correct.
to.
Does anybody else know who number 5 is yet?
Can you put
I
the
don't.
stats back
Texas
up
Tech.
again?
No, sir.
No, we're
we
too
can't
past
see
that
them
point.
again.
All right, go ahead.
Brad.
Wait,
no,
Brad's
don't
up,
skip
Brad's
Brad.
up.
The mayor.
Mayor about to fail, so
Brad, 2-4.
No, if I were you, Brad, I would go for number 2. If I were you,
listen,
I would go.
Yeah, go for number 2.
Listen,
Yeah, go for number 2, Brad.
2's looking good.
2 not looking good over here. Like if you ain't if you ain't lined up under Ohio State, I ain't with you. So I'm gonna go 4.
Right.
I'm gonna blow the dice like in Vegas. So
Yeah.
go to number 4.
You're going on body.
Survey says.
You're going body of work with number 4.
Four's the only one I'm not sure who it is.
Survey.
This is pretty good, McNuggets.
I know who that is.
This will not be our starting
Take it.
quarterback, by the way.
Take it.
It's
This
just
is
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold
Yeah,
was number 4.
The Pac-12 gave it away.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could have thought maybe it was Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
But
Let me be clear. I don't even watch the conferences.
no,
Gee, you're up, buddy.
The Quills, we in the
G.
same
Bush, you got
family.
1 and
We only
5
watching
left.
one thing.
2 and 5. Excuse me. 2 and
Gee,
5.
do you know who number 5 is?
I would go
Yes.
number 2.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
You got to take him. No, I guess you don't.
Lord. I mean, I'm not.
Nuggets, this game sucked.
I ain't no hater. But you know what I'm saying? I got to take Baker Mayfield over
Take it.
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
Give me 5.
And he's taking Baker. I put the 0-1 as an
See,
asterisk.
honest to God, seriously,
Oh,
I
man.
thought for sure you were going to take number 2. You don't want Baker Mayfield.
Nah.
Jay,
You've
I'm
sat here
surprised
for
you didn't know it was him.
No, I figured it out before he
Okay.
said it was Baker. I knew it was
When he
Baker.
said
Oh,
Texas
yeah.
Tech,
Yeah,
Texas
I know what he was doing. That's when he said Texas Tech. I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
I know what you're throwing us off.
Yeah.
But
He
I
threw
think
me for a loop.
question,
He threw
the
me for a
question
loop.
was alma mater.
That's true.
Well, he
Anyway.
did go to Texas Tech.
No, alma mater is the school in which he
Alma
graduated.
mater, yes.
Well, did he graduate?
Right.
He left after his.
No, I think he got his degree at Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure he did.
I don't know.
Well, okay.
McNuggets, that
By
was
the
One
slick.
way or
That
another,
was
I know
slick
he
of
didn't
you.
get his degree from Texas Tech, but I knew what you were doing.
How was
I tried to
Baker
throw you off
0-1
the-
against the Browns, by the way?
So the
Well,
asterisk
they're trying to
against
kick
that-
him out. Yeah, he
the
lost that
asterisk
battle
says
against
he took the
Cleveland.
ultimate L. So when he said there's a huge asterisk,
Yeah.
he took the ultimate L.
Yeah.
Okay.
On a down on a
Slick.
leg.
Thank you.
Slick.
And that is why Jay Crawford,
Slick.
let's take 13
Yeah,
here,
this is
Steve,
so
is
wrong.
stuck with the aerospace engineer,
game
the
is just-
smartest quarterback in the
Josh
league.
Dobbs.
Listen, he'll have a
rigged.
career
He's the
after
best
football
dressed.
for sure.
He's the smartest, no doubt.
A phenomenal
No doubt.
interview,
No
too.
doubt
I
about
talked to him
it.
a couple of times in Tennessee. Great dude.
Yeah.
Great dude.
Well, I think
They playing football.
Aditi said that she loves him.
Could not be a nicer, smarter, well-spoken guy. Yeah.
All right, well, let's root for him then. Can we root for my
Yeah.
guy? Can we just root for my guy here?
We'll
And
root
Josh
for him
Dobbs.
personally. We just hope he doesn't play at all.
Right. Great point, bull.
And
Although, to be fair, he's never really played. Maybe he'd be a decent quarterback. He's never
He
had a
beat
chance.
out Nathan Peterman in
Guys,
college.
could you imagine? Seriously,
Listen,
could you
that's
imagine
not
if he does?
difficult, McNuggets.
Yeah, I know. Why would you even bring that up, McNuggets?
Oh, it's the only fun. Try finding fun fact of a guy who's thrown like 4 passes in his NFL
In the words
career.
of Sean P. Diddy Combs, you gonna get some money one day, but it just ain't gonna be here, Playboy. Take that. Take that. Take that.
He's gonna be at NASA.
Yeah, like you ain't gonna get no money here, but I wish you the
Guys,
best.
look, listen, what a story that would be. Could you imagine if it's happened before?
What?
Dobbs gets forced into action because I guess
God.
he would be 2 on the depth chart to start the season.
Right.
Right?
Assuming
barring
Watson's
a trade,
suspended,
barring
yes.
a trade for another guy.
Right, he would be.
Could you imagine Jacoby goes down or isn't playing well, and they say, "Let's see what we got." He's looked good in
Right.
practice,
But,
and Dobbs comes in and lights up the league.
See, this thing is taking a twist here, right? Because, and DeQuill, you can hear me on this. This thing is taking a twist here. This thing looks like, which is coming down from the NFL, about to be some serious stuff here. This is,
Oh, yeah.
You're about to have a Players Association versus league in a way that I haven't seen in any major league here ever.
Yeah,
right. This thing gonna get
in Bull's
ugly.
words earlier this week, they could burn the whole thing
This
down.
thing gonna get ugly here, right? And so
Yeah.
if it gets ugly, am I letting Baker Mayfield go just yet? Because it looks like one
that
entity.
ship has
There we go.
Hold on, listen, just hear me out, Bull. It looks like one entity is playing for keeps here, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I can't remember any major league really playing for. I hear them talking tough. They talk tough all the time.
They're on the same team
Right.
at the end of the day.
Right.
But this is the first time you've ever got the sense that they're aiming flamethrowers at one
Yes.
another. Because
Which is-
if the Players Association brings in all the pass with Snyder and Jones and Richardson and Kraft, it is going to get real ugly real quick. Yeah.
Real quick.
Well, what do you think about that? How does that end?
Oof, I can't even see an end route to all of that, because you're right. The NFLPA will have a great case, because you look at, as you mentioned, Daniel, everything that continues to go on within that facility and organization. He was just summoned, I think, subpoenaed by Congress to show face. So there's so much there to unpack. Again, this suspension, I don't see this going away anytime soon. This is going to be the news cycle for a very long time. And last week or earlier this week, I know Deshaun Watson settled 20 of the 24 civil cases that he had against him. So this is a long shot. I don't see this ending anytime soon.
What are your thoughts on that,
the PA,
on the settlement?
It was such a fluid situation. At one point, I thought he was going to challenge this to the very end, and all of a sudden, things change. All of a sudden, we read he settled with a majority of these women. So I think at this point, he wants to put it past them. I think, and my assumption was, he had an idea of, he struck a deal with the NFL. It's like, hey, if we go ahead and take a so-called plea deal, settle, maybe the suspension will be less harsh. But I was under the assumption that the NFL and Deshaun Watson and his team came up with some, deal where they want to get this out of the news cycle. They want to, hand down the suspension, be done with it, move forward, and, keep this out of this stain of the NFL. You want to quell some of this noise against him in the NFL. So I thought it was, he's got to do what's best for him. He's got to do, he's got to do what's best for him. If he wants to play football, this is the best route to go about it. I know Bull talked about this when I was in studio last time about, settling or, and coming up with some sort of settlement with the accuser. So, listen, I'm glad I'm not in this situation. It's a very sketchy situation to be in the first place, but, he has to do what's best for him at the end of the day if he wants to play football soon rather than later.
And I say this, right? So this train has been coming down the track for a long time. I don't think the light on that train, nobody didn't see it, right? The NFL only had one position to play, and that was a hard position because of the circumstances around it. So they got to come off like they're playing it hard, right? Mm-hmm. That's why I'm not surprised to hear that the negotiation between Watson and the NFL's camp broke down early, right? I also know that this is the game. Him selling the case is, if you didn't think he got wind that this thing was going to be played hardball, so it's a chess game being played here, right? He's making some moves here on his side. The NFL's going to make some moves on their side. But be clear as just a player in another league in one of the major sports here, that when you start throwing stones at glass houses here, right? They've never done that, right? All right, so you've got enough people on the NFL side here that, because it appears like it's a kangaroo court situation here, because who's running this thing? It's one thing for Goodell is a arbitrary figure, right? And he has the authority to.
So allegedly, Sue Robinson was the former judge that was empowered to investigate this and to come up with the punishment. And she was mutually decided upon by the Players Association and the NFL. So this was somebody that both sides went to and said, we trust her.
I don't understand, guys, why the NFL ultimately would want to give him that big a suspension. Because
the outside pressure, I'm guessing.
But what's going to happen?
That pressure is not even. I'm not going to say it's not real, but it doesn't change.
It doesn't affect anything.
It doesn't materially change whether or not people watch.
We know what the NFL operates by public perception.
Public perception.
They're operating under the assumption that if they go light on this,
right,
that it's going to come across poorly.
Well, to your point, baseball. That hammer hurt and that hurt as well.
And I said at the time when the Bauer suspension came out and it was 2 years, I said that was the equivalent of Rob Manfred taking the pin out of the grenade and throwing it into the Park Avenue offices at the NFL.
Right, but
saying, what are you going to do now?
But Jay, in the end, if the NFL didn't even suspend them at all, how would that hurt them financially?
Bull, a lot of things they do.
I don't think. Yeah.
Go ahead, DeQuell.
Yeah, it's public perception. As a player, that's the first thing that's the first thing you realize in terms of the judicial system. If you're ever in a situation where you're presumed guilty just by public perception before you're found innocent. So in this case, every player, every staffer, anyone within the organization has an understanding, specifically the players understand if you get in trouble and it's in the media and it's and it's an ongoing cycle and everyone's talking about it, your punishment is going to be far worse, even if you're considered innocent. So in this case, you remember, not too long ago, a guy named Ray Rice, who was a friend of mine, got in trouble, got in some situation in an elevator with his wife. The NFL handed down a slap on the wrist. And then all of a sudden the video comes out and they double down and they suspend him indefinitely. And he never played again. So I think NFL, hopefully they've learned from that and they want to use this as a precedented case to say, hey, a year suspension. And I'm just speculating a year suspension here. You have to come down with the hammer so you can kind of quell some of this noise a bit so the NFL can save face. That's all they're about is public perception.
Well, for this, there's a reason why when you talk about in the world, right, you can go to war with people, but when you got two different people with nuclear weapons, that changes the
and
whole
that's what this
outlook.
feels like.
You got one side now. It's cool when you chasing the rabbit, but when a rabbit got the gun, you in trouble. Mm-hmm. And right now, the Players Association has weapons of mass destruction. I'm letting you know right now. You go look at those transcripts and some of those transcripts in the court hearings of what the House and Congress found on Dan Snyder and told him not only you got to come in here and speak to this, they talking about he quelled the investigation. He funded a dossier almost to go find dirt on these people to discredit them. When they don't have the leeway at this point to say we're going to be the moral authority when you got other people that's ready to say, okay, well, let's go ahead and see how you like this if we subpoena this. And let me get the emails to this. And can I know what you said to Flores? Y'all doing that now? Or all these things rap.
This is very murky. Here, and I know we got to wrap, but this is what happens when you jump before the ending, right? So they want a summation right now in the midst of it, right? So you're going to base on a series of things out here. If you go back in here, now you got to bring up Snyder, Jerry Jones, Kraft.
Yeah.
Right? This is all coming, right?
And the thing is, it's mind-boggling to me, DeQuell, and I'll get your thoughts on this. In the Kraft situation and Jones and all of these prior situations, whenever the league does an investigation of a team, like it did Washington,
right.
DeQuell, correct me if I'm wrong here, it's basically the employee investigating the boss. The owners are the boss here. They paid the commissioner.
It's bogus.
And if he doesn't do what they want him to do, and even if he only takes egregious action against one, the other 31 are going to look at that and say, wow, the boss just got fired by the employee. We don't like this setup. It puts Goodell in a very tenuous situation. But whenever you have a spot where the boss is being investigated by the employee, don't be surprised if you don't get a fair outcome. And that's what's happening in my view.
Well, the owners
same.
Go ahead, Go ahead, bro. I was gonna say real quick. The owners have let it be known before. We run the show here.
Well, there's
no penalties for that.
We run the show here. You don't run. Goodell don't run nothing.
And the NFLPA has finally said, you know what? No more of that.
Right.
Let's let DeQuell get the final thought.
Yeah,
on this.
DeQuell, go ahead and give your thoughts on that.
Roger Goodell is making north of, and I hate to count people's pockets, but the owners are paying him an exorbitant amount of money a year. So if any situation comes up, in my estimation, a slap on the wrist is what they expect to get. And you're right, Jay, it's the employee, investigating the boss. Right. So that's murky waters to begin with. And honestly, you're not going to get a fair deal out of it. You look at, how the NBA does things. The NBA empowers their players, empowers their progressiveness, the commissioner, I should say. Yep. Right, yeah. So it's two different leagues we're talking about, and the NFL just has a long way to catch up to kind of be consistent with their rulings and how they handle things.
Yeah.
In my
to
opinion.
be clear, the NFL is still very much an owner's league, but the NBA, Brad, we've seen is now a players' league.
Yes.
They have a lot more power and a lot more say on what goes on and where they go than the NFL ever has.
Took a long time to get, because I remember when they were hanging out people to dry early.
Thanks, DeQuell.
Yeah, DeQuell, we got to let you go. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
Let's throw one back and we say goodbye.
Yeah.
DeQuell.
Cheers, guys.
Appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you because I'm going to need you to talk to a little Terp in Maryland for me because
Okay.
all right, I'm going to have you holler at her.
There you go. Enjoy the weekend,
I'm here,
my
brother.
friend. Enjoy the
All right,
weekend,
enjoy your
DeQuell.
weekend, guys.
The
Take
great
care.
DeQuell Jackson with some very interesting thoughts there. And I think, as we kind of try to make sense of all of this, I think your analogy was fantastic. It's one thing when there's a fight going on.
Right.
It's another thing when there's a fight going on and both sides have nuclear weapons of mass destruction. And the NFL and the NFLPA better come together quickly because yesterday Josina reported that the talks broke down.
So stupid.
And when they're trying to negotiate, they better figure this out because they can either settle this with the door closed.
Yeah.
Or the NFLPA is going to open that door
We got to
and a lot
leave
of
it here,
other
guys.
Pandora's boxes.
We got to leave it here. Go ahead, Mikey McNuggets.
Yes.
We got to go. Go ahead.
Okay, Daryl Johnston, the USFL Executive Vice President, former Dallas Cowboy, three-time Super Bowl champ, will be joining us here as soon as he hops on. Should be any second. So as always, on Fridays, we bring you King of the Land, which is sponsored by the Pro Football Hall of Fame Village. Get your tickets to the USFL Playoffs and Championship game in Canton on June 25th. That's this Saturday. Championship
Tomorrow.
game is July 3rd. Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And the championship's a week from Saturday. Tickets are on sale now at halloffamevillage.com. So King of the Land is a segment we've been doing.
Wait, is
where
this championship game, you said Saturday. I thought it was Sunday.
I think it's the Final
the
Four.
3rd. Is that a Sunday?
Yeah, that's a Sunday.
That's a Sunday.
So the
Excuse me.
Final Four begins tomorrow.
Both games are tomorrow in Canton.
And then the championship game is a week from this Sunday.
Right.
Correct. July
Also
3rd.
in Canton at the Hall of Fame Stadium.
Which I drove past, by the way. I didn't realize it was right off the highway.
It's right off the highway.
right off the highway. I mean,
And it's really a beautiful area. They're really
McKinley
doing a
High
lot
School
to
play there,
beautify
so
it.
it's
They're kind of
nice.
making it like a football theme park, which is cool. It feels cool over there.
Even the wires for the
Yes,
electricity
I love that.
look like a goalpost.
Yeah,
It's
which
crazy.
is brilliant. It's brilliant. Where the electrical wires
Right,
cross
yeah,
the
yeah,
highway,
yeah.
it's a goalpost. Okay,
So Daryl Johnston should join us any second. While we're waiting for him to hop on, Bull is the king of the land this week. Bull has a chance to change any rule in sports to make it better, to fix it. He is the king. So without further ado, Bull,
I'm fixing
fix it.
baseball, which has got major. I got multiple rule changes. I'm going to rapid fire go through it. First of all, we're cutting 30 games off the season. Major League Baseball is now going to be a 132-game season.
Wow. What about the records?
The records are meaningless. Nobody pays attention to the records anymore anyway.
in baseball, they do.
Not anymore.
Really?
No, it's not like when we were kids. They don't care.
What's the home run record?
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
You don't care anymore.
It doesn't matter.
Huh. I'm a baseball fan. I care.
132 games, 8 games versus every team in your division, 4 teams against everybody else. Complete balance. We play doubleheaders every Sunday. 2 games for the price of 1. Fans need a little extra, okay? But we cut 8 weeks off the season. We play the World Series before the NFL season starts. Nobody cares about baseball once the NFL starts. Let's get the World Series over by the first week of September. Let's do it. All right, we're going to ban shifts. We're going to automate the strike zone. We're going to add a pitch clock. We're going to add a salary floor. Forget this. Anybody calling for a salary cap's an idiot. We already have a salary cap in baseball, pretty much, except for 1 or 2 teams. We need a salary floor, $150 million salary floor. That'll make things fair. More access to the fans.
Wait, $150 million.
$150 million.
You've got fewer games to make all that revenue.
Well, fair enough. You adjust it accordingly based on the amount of games.
Okay. I like the idea of a ceiling or floor, though.
More access for the fans. The TV situation must immediately be fixed in baseball. If I have if I want to watch the Guardians game on my MLB.com app, I should be able to watch it in Cleveland.
I completely
It's
agree.
absurd.
I don't understand why their product is so hard to get.
It's ridiculous.
You're not the old Major League Baseball. Your
Yeah.
sport is dying.
Get it. Let's
Put it
have
in the
access.
hands of the consumer. Don't make it so tough.
And every stadium, even Yankee Stadium, Wrigley, whatever, has to have a decent amount of seats that are extremely cheap for people who can't afford to go to the game. Now, you want to charge $1 zillion for the good seats? I don't care what you charge.
I like that.
But have some seats, a reasonable amount that the common man can afford to buy.
That's all the sports.
Or
know?
have a free section. There you like if you want people to come.
Fine, there
free
you go.
section.
I was thinking like $5 a ticket, but that's basically. And finally,
those
this will
are
be
all
the
the
most
sports.
controversial stance.
Okay.
Don't test for PEDs. I don't care. Let them use
I'm
steroids.
with you.
Let
Totally
them use
with you,
steroids.
Bull.
I don't give a. I don't. Oh, I was going to curse. I don't care if players use steroids. Most fans don't care. The only reason baseball fans care, or the older baseball fans, is because of the records. I used to be one of those people. I no longer care because the record's already tainted. Football, why do you think football fans don't care? Football fans don't care about steroids.
Brad, do you care about PED use?
I care.
Yeah.
I really,
no offense, you're old, Brad.
I care.
Young people don't care.
Wow, he just called you old.
You're old.
Listen here.
You're old.
I earned them.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this.
I've earned the right to say that.
And I think I know why you're saying that.
Yeah.
You have a young child that's involved in competitive athletics.
Right.
I've had a young child involved in competitive athletics.
Yeah.
In a sport where cheating was the norm, track and field.
Right.
And he constantly asked me this, Dad, how am I ever going to be the best in the world when I know that the best in the world are doing something that I'm not?
Just give it what you got.
And you know what I told him?
Yeah.
You be the best you can be
Just
with,
give it what
with
you got.
what God gave you.
Yep, that's it.
And Bull,
Yes.
do you want your 12-year-old son coming home after you take him to a Guardians game and Jose Ramirez hits 5 home runs and one of them was 500 feet? And he said, Dad, I want to be just like Jose Ramirez. How do I do that?
Here goes some creatures,
Well, you
son.
use steroids. Yeah. Would you like some tests?
Yeah.
No, so that's why I think
all
parents
that
have
stuff's
a different
happening
view
anyway.
of that.
I'm a parent.
I know, but you don't want your son to do something that is medically proven to shorten his life.
Let's get the science. Let's have steroids or some sort of thing that is okay to use, not bad for you health-wise, and can still make you a better player.
Well, you just created
get
a
the
magic
science
bullet.
out.
If you can create that, I'm in.
I disagree with this. Here's why. Another reason why I disagree, Bull. It's like this. This country has gone to a point where everybody gets a freaking trophy, right?
I'm not advocating for that.
It's okay to come up short sometime if you gave it your all.
Listen, in the real world, there's one winner oftentimes. There's no participation trophy.
Right.
Let's prepare young kids.
I don't want
for what the
participation
real
trophies.
Why? Because they're in the
No,
real
I don't
world.
want them.
Oh, good,
I don't want them. I agree.
Okay,
No,
yeah,
but
no,
if you're
good.
saying get rid of PEDs and you like, okay, go do your thing. You're not a real competitor.
That's the wild, wild west. If you got
Get
everybody
out
out
of
there,
here.
Whatever. Everybody's doing something. They're all doing it anyway.
I disagree with that because some people are not. They're just
I
out here
hope they're
competing.
not all doing it.
They're just some people are just competing.
But let me drill down on something you just said. Everybody's all doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So we knew that as the media looked the other way in the late 90s, as we had the summer of the home run with McGuire and Sosa, both breaking a record that stood for almost 40 years.
Yeah.
And then Bonds later was watching from the sidelines saying, I'll see your
And then
testosterone and I'll raise you an HGH in human growth.
Right.
And then he hit 75.
Right.
Despite the fact that he was intentionally walked over 100 times in that season.
Including with the bases loaded a few times.
Now, obviously, that's the height of the steroid era.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't think that there are as many or even as close to the number of guys that are using it today that were using it then?
No, but I'm sure there's something that guys are using that maybe we just don't even know about publicly.
Well, I'll definitely agree with that, but I don't think it's even the majority.
It's probably
of the
not
players.
rampant like it once was, but
I
still think there's stuff going on.
To me, I think there's things you can do besides steroids. We talked about metal bats.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
No, guys who get killed with that.
You can't use metal bats.
Listen, I go right out there. Now, a pitcher, hey, listen, bro, you might want to wear a mouth shield or something.
If you're going to have metal bats, you got to put the net in front of the pitcher.
So wait, I got one. I think one thing, because metal bats, as a pitcher, I ain't throwing it no -5s anymore. I'm not doing it. But I'll say this.
Yeah.
Bull, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Offense sells tickets.
Yes. Yeah.
Go back and look at the attendance figures in 98, 99,
People
and 2000.
going crazy. Baseball was huge.
The commercial baseball once did. It was funny. Chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah.
Everybody digs the long ball. Why are the fences still 420 feet at some
I don't
stadiums?
know. Let's go. Home runs.
And look, and through time, we have moved those fences. If you go back and look at old Ebbets Field and the Polo Grounds, I think the Polo Grounds didn't even have a center field home run fence. It just melted into the
it was like
the
480 feet.
Well, it melted
away.
into the bullpen.
Right.
Like
yeah.
you
Pretty
couldn't
much.
hit a home run to center field. So I think the quick fix to that is you want more offense, and I know pitchers hate this, and I do like great pitching, but if we want to see more offensive numbers, just come up with parameters. And I'm not saying make every ballpark exactly the same, because I love the fact that each ballpark is different.
Right.
But don't have anything that's 400 feet to dead away center.
Yeah, no.
Make it 375, 310 down the
Or
down
juice
the
the
line.
balls. If you don't want to juice the players, juice the balls. I don't care.
I think your point earlier is the baseball has been slow to the game. They have been slow to make the game more appetizing to the fans.
Yeah.
Right? You have to make them
absolutely. Market the players better. They don't market the players well
The
enough.
NBA is going this way. I'm gonna tell you what. At some point here in the NBA, they're gonna have a 4-point shot.
They
There
should.
it is.
They should make
I'll take you back to old NBA when you went to the free throw line to get 3 for 2. Three
Yeah,
shots
I
to
remember
make two.
that.
3 for 2.
Yep.
Right. Those are the things you can do.
I don't even remember that. That
I don't even
existed?
remember
No,
that.
it used to be
I
that.
don't even remember
You got
that.
three to
I
make
did not
two.
remember
Three
that.
to make 2.
And some people have said in basketball, when fouling situations happen late, make it, you keep shooting.
Yep.
You know, so if you get into a situation where you're down,
But
that'll never happen.
those sports,
that would be fun to watch.
Football and NBA have made the adjustment. Baseball has been very reluctant to make any
all
adjustment.
the steroid thing, we caught up on that, but the other stuff could all make the game better.
I think Mike.
We got
And the shift, by the way, the shift is
that's coming.
after this
Yeah, we gotta
year,
get rid
it's
of
over.
that.
Is he on?
We
Moose?
do not have Moose yet.
Oh, okay.
He asked if he could push it back a few minutes, so
Okay,
we're
fine.
going to
Yeah.
coordinate with him. But in the meantime, so make sure we get through everything today. Let's do good bet, bad bet real
Before
quick.
we do that, can I respond to one thing that G. Bush said that I think might have
One
been
response,
the
good
smartest
bet,
thing
bad
in
bet,
this
and Cavs.
conversation?
Yes.
I am so sick and tired of seeing more empty seats at baseball games than seats that are occupied. Now, obviously, Dodger Stadium, Yankee Stadium, there are certain stadiums
Wrigley,
that sell
Fenway,
out.
but that's about it.
Baseball has been talking for years about the lack of diversity. The number of blacks in Major League Baseball right now is at a dangerously low level. You got to go back to, I think, the 70s, maybe even the 60s now, because it's gone down every year. The sport is losing black kids to football and basketball. It's because they don't understand the game in many cases. They don't have the facility in their neighborhoods to play it. Why are those seats consistently empty? And I know you can't do it for every game, but I think every franchise should have to make, for half of their home games, they have to allocate 1,000 seats for, and I know it's going to be that. Now you're like, well, how do you decide who gets the tickets?
Right.
For kids. Because the kids don't care about baseball anymore.
Right.
They're losing it.
Give them free spots.
So
The seats
give
are
them
empty
free
anyway.
tickets.
Yeah.
Take those seats, and I don't think anybody's going to complain, well, I paid for my seat. If you give it to someone who's underprivileged and would never be able to enjoy a baseball game otherwise, those seats are empty.
You can use the tax write-off, and to your point, why not get with the school system? Say, hey, we got an honor roll, merit roll guys. We're gonna get
a reward base.
And a
I love
reward
that.
base.
That's a great
I love that.
I want to tell you this. So I grew up on the east side of Cleveland, and I was affiliated with a 60-year-old little league called B-Buzz Baseball. I'm still affiliated with them now, right? We have 150 kids here, and I will say this to the Guardians' benefit.
They care.
They are engaged.
Oh, yes. They care about
we only have
inner-city
100.
baseball.
When I was playing in this league, Bull, there were 500 kids playing here.
Yeah.
You had every major politician coaching in this thing. I mean, this thing was humming. Now it's not. The fields are in bad condition, right? Nobody has the liquidity to play this thing,
Tough to
right?
find coaches.
Right, we're down 150 kids, right? But I will say the Guardians are at least engaged here and say, listen, what can we do together to try to grow this?
And it's not lip service. I can tell you that the Guardians care deeply about this issue right here. I mentioned something a couple of weeks ago on the air that I was talking to someone who has something in the works for inner city Cleveland baseball. And immediately, Curtis was watching the show. Curtis Danberg, the VP of Communications with the Guardians, immediately texted me and said, hey, what is this project? Maybe this is something we need to partner with.
Right.
So it's an initiative that the Guardians care deeply about.
Have to.
And why they're not providing whatever the number is, 500 tickets, 1,000 tickets to inner city kids or to underprivileged kids, or to your point, anybody who's in the Northeast Ohio area, if you get 3.0 or higher, or you get a certain merit that you've reached, you get 2 free tickets and 2 for your parents.
Right.
So you get 4. Pick them to the game that you want. We've got 1 million empty seats at Progressive Field for the season.
I think they want
Fill them.
I think they want to do the right things. I think it's folks like us here that have to advance an agenda.
Yeah, sure.
To keep it in front of them and say, listen, this is what we need.
Let's stay on
here
that
now.
because it's something that I'm very passionate about. You're losing young people. Baseball, you're losing them in droves. If you get them to a game, there's nothing better to hook a kid. I went to my first game just before my 5th birthday. I can tell you everything about that game. It's burned into my memory. That was where my love of the game was sparked.
Yeah.
For every kid that doesn't get to experience that is a potential fan loss.
Walking up the tunnel, smelling the grass for the first time,
It bombards your
1978 at
senses.
Chase
The
Stadium
mustard,
for
the
me.
grass, you can smell everything.
Good bet, bad bet, right?
We gotta go.
Listen,
Thanks, G. Boy.
we could get back to that topic. I think it's a great topic, but
I do
with
think we need to spend more time on that.
two
Good
guests
bet, bad
coming
bet.
on, we got to get through the stuff that we got to get
So
through.
good bet, bad bet. First time ever.
3-0,
Back-to-back
back-to-back
3-0s.
days, Jay.
Yep. Boom. 3-0.
Let's see what the
3-0.
stats.
3-0, 3-0. Bull and G. Bush, both 2-1 yesterday.
Man, I can't pick up on ground, though, on these guys.
You're 1 game behind G. Bush, 2 games behind Bull. So we are very close here. But let's get to the first bet today.
Wait,
to
where are
run
the total
through this.
standings? Do you not have the total standings ready?
We may have made a mathematical mistake. Did Anthony just walk by? Is that happening?
Anthony just looked at me and he was like, I messed up.
Well, I'm glad they're not showing it. I saw it yesterday. I was like, I don't like my numbers.
I know. I think Brad paid him. Hey, bro, mess that graphic up. Here's a little something for you.
I noted a little behind-the-scenes story real quick because we love Anthony.
Yeah,
he makes 100 graphics. He's awesome. Could not be more proud of how quickly he's coming along. I noticed that the percentages were off because G. Bush, who's not in first, had the highest percentage of you 3. And I was like, hey, is this right? And he goes, oh, whoops. Forgot to change that. So we weren't even going to bring it up. If you didn't call it, no one would have known.
Well,
but that's all we appreciate, you calling it out.
It's close. I need to see it.
I tried to verbally show what the deal was.
Yeah, so I'm one behind G. Bush.
1 behind G, 2 behind Bull.
And Bull's still the leader in the clubhouse.
Bull's the leader with 49 wins.
Well done.
G.
Bull.
Bush is 48. Jay, you're at 47.
I'm going for 3 straight 3-0.
It would be impressive. All right, let's see the first one here. Guardians once again getting a run and a half tonight against the Red Sox.
Yeah. When are they going to get some respect from Vegas?
Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is 5 games in a row.
Even yesterday they covered because they were getting a run and a half and they lost 1-0.
People are they're non-believers. Right?
They're 18-6 over their last 24. Yeah. Vegas, are you paying attention? Okay.
Next one. We have a true split here, so you can pick up some games. You're against G and Bull. Over 6.5 strikeouts tonight for Cal Quantrill.
Yeah, all right, Brad and Jay got this wrong. Quantrill's only struck out 7 or more once this season. So I don't like his chances of striking out 7.
Boston strikes out a lot.
I'm on the roll. I like we're on the
roll. Boston strikes out a lot.
I like when we're on the roll.
7.
I'm 7 a lot of strikeouts. I'm throwing aces here.
He's only done it once, and that one time he had 7 strikeouts. Yeah, so he's not a big strikeout
Boston's
guy.
That's like a team. They strike out a lot.
That's like a guy shooting threes. He got a big game.
And
that
you know
day.
what else I did? So yesterday I told you. I've taken the under because it was getaway day, and you don't see a lot of offense on getaway day. It was 1-0.
Right.
Now I'll use another trend that I've noticed in baseball.
Okay.
When teams come home for big homestands and they're slingshotting off an unbelievable road trip,
slow start,
they usually carry that momentum home with them. Mm-hmm. And I think the Guardians come out tonight. They're charged. The place better be packed. It's a beautiful Friday night. Yeah. I'm expecting 30,000. I hope they get that. I know. But listen, it's the Red Sox.
There should be.
There's going to be a lot of Red Sox fans that
perfect weather.
Yeah,
perfect weather.
I know that's a tall order, but I'm not 30. Do we have fireworks tonight? Does anybody know? Or
I think it's Dollar Dog Night.
Talk to your people.
What is it?
Dollar Dog Night.
Okay. 30,000. Book it. We should have said an over and under on the attendance.
I believe. I'm not 100% sure.
Hold on.
I
gotta jump here. That's a shame.
I know.
A sports town like Cleveland.
I know.
We blinking at 30,000 people.
Yeah,
it's like nothing.
I know.
No,
Brad,
I know.
By the way, in the league in attendance.
26. We used to put 45,000 in
Mikey,
there.
I know you just got here. This is Cleveland, right?
All right, I got to get up for a minute because I can't hear anything in my earpiece. So just ignore me.
Plug it in.
Let me move this way.
All right, here we go.
And then they need to keep it on it.
Cleveland.
I know, but it's not the old Cleveland.
Yes, it is.
We've lost a ton of population.
They still should be able to get 30 for a game like this.
The population has just moved to the burbs. They still here.
No, Northeast Ohio. The Northeast Ohio population. When
I say that, I'm Lake County. I'm Portage County.
No, I know.
It's all here.
It still should be enough for 30, but it's not. But by the way, when I was doing games in Batavia, a tiny little town, we would average about 800 people a game at our games.
Right.
But once a year, we'd have a fireworks night. And we'd be sold out, 2,500 people.
Yeah.
But
people
you have
just
obsessed
with
Clevelanders like dollar hot dogs.
Yeah.
But you have to do your
they
thing.
Come out of the woodwork.
Your thing with the tickets. You have to do things now to get those folks down. Yes, you do.
All right.
Okay. So
we have one more.
One more.
We're gonna take a quick break to get Don in. He's in studio right now.
So are we going to punt on Moose then? Or?
No, we're going to just add a 5th person to the interview.
Oh, okay.
Listen,
Great.
who better to add to a USFL interview than a comedian?
Yeah, you're right.
So it works out perfectly. This is why UCSS is the best around. We change things on the fly. We adapt. Moose was supposed to be here at 11:30. This is on the USFL. It is not on us, and I'm gonna call him out. That is disrespectful. We adjusted 2 interviews to fit the USFL, and then they.
Hold on.
I had nothing to do with that, Moose. You good with me?
Hold on.
No, listen, it's not Moose.
Hey, hold on. Mikey, don't be talking tough over there now. Like,
That's a sponsor.
He said it.
That's a sponsor.
He said it with his chest.
Yeah, like
Listen, no. We appreciate
Stand
that.
down,
We'll get 'em
Mikey.
on.
Stand
No,
down,
we're gonna get 'em
Mikey.
on. It's just if they tell
Follow
us
the money.
11:30, we appreciate 11:30.
No,
Stand down, Mikey.
You're
It's show
absolutely
business.
fair. You're right. What's the third good bet?
Let's
bad
go to the
bet?
third one, and we have another split, which means, Jay, you could pick up 2 games on G. Bush.
So I could
on Monday. You could be in second place
could be in
come
second.
Monday. Under 6
Bull,
goals
I
in
can't.
tonight's Stanley Cup Finals game.
No, I like a lot of
5.
goals in this game.
Did you call your hockey guide?
I did not.
You did not?
No. But the Lightning, they're 2-time Stanley Cup champs. They're not going out without a fight. I think this game's going to be a slugfest.
I got 3-2.
Yeah, I agree too.
I got 3-2.
Yeah, I think these games, because this is a clincher,
Yeah.
these games tend to be played very cautiously.
Right.
It's like an overtime period.
Yep.
You know, you don't see a
Wait,
lot
but
of
you had
odd
the
man
same bet
rushes.
as me.
I know.
Okay.
I know I
Yeah.
did, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I'm talking all the way around this thing. Usually
Yeah.
these games are played pretty close to the vest. So
Okay.
we'll see how we'll see. I mean, it could also get out of control. You know, it could get out of control early. Are we going to take a break?
We're going to take a
first?
break so we can
Okay.
adjust chairs. And
Tell
we
us
come
who's
back.
coming up, Bull.
Yeah,
'cause
Don
Bull, give us the
Jamieson,
tease.
my man. He's been coming. He was coming on my radio show for many years. He's a great comedian, and he's playing. He's playing. He's not a musician.
Well, when you do a show, though,
I
you
guess
can say, I'm playing.
performing.
Yeah.
He's performing tonight. I can't even speak at the Funny Stop. There he is, Cuyahoga Falls.
I like the
and
Indian
I'm
shirt,
going.
too.
Mikey's going tonight,
Yeah.
I like that.
Old school.
and another buddy of mine. We invited other people, but they said no. So Don, you can tell them to go.
I didn't
F
get the
themselves.
invitation.
We
So-
invited everybody. You want to go?
I didn't get the invitation.
You
You're
wanna
going
go?
to the Guardians game tonight, aren't you?
Did I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony wanted to go, but anyway, Don's going to join us in just a
Is
second.
that why I wasn't invited? Because you knew I
Yes,
was going to the
you
Guardians?
know.
Just
We
go
knew
with
that.
it.
Yes,
Yeah, just
that's
go
coming
with
up
it.
next. Let's take a break. Hey Cleveland, it's Adam the Bull. And if you love sports as much as I do, then you've got to be watching the new Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. But if you don't have 2 hours to watch it live or on YouTube, well, there's a podcast version, so you're in luck. Listen to it anytime, anywhere. We're doing things on this show that no one else is doing. We're getting crazy. Find out for yourself. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
What matters most to me is family. Sometimes you don't realize how important it is until you're away from them.
What matters most to Jay? His family. He is a big family man. What matters most to me? My family, my safety, your safety.
I think the thing that most impresses me about Betsy is her versatility. Give her any assignment that involves going in front of a television camera, and she's going to knock it out of the park.
What's new with Betsy and Jay? Weekdays at 5 on 3. Recognize that feeling? It is the feeling of being together, enjoying the company of a familiar face, and sharing moments that matter to you, to me, to us. What matters to some could impact all of us, especially in a place like Northeast Ohio. Here, stories are shared from east to west to south. Stories of perseverance, of family, of love. If a story brings us together, it's what matters most.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I am a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. I have carried my fandom every city I've ever lived in. People have always asked me, why are you so diehard about Cleveland? It's because I'm from here. And we know how much our teams mean to us. Most of us know that because of our parents. In my case, my father was just a huge Cleveland sports fan. It was really part of our life. It was woven into everything we did. And it was our connection throughout his life.
We're going to come 720. Is that cool?
Dun, dun.
We are back. It's the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Don Jamieson is in studio with us. Don also gets to look short. Everybody sits in that chair and looks short, Don.
Very tiny here.
I know, that's
Yeah.
the tiny chair. We're sorry.
I'm a tiny comedian.
Don's been coming on my radio show for years now. I don't know. He's, from the Northeast, same as me. He's from New Jersey. I'm from New York. Who's got better pizza, New York or New Jersey?
Oh, come on. New York.
Of course. Or at least you admit that. Some people from New Jersey will try to. And then you got the weirdos who say Connecticut's got the best pizza. Well, those people are idiots.
Well, New Haven's got good pizza.
Yeah, like New Haven.
Yeah, there's a couple of places.
Yeah. There's 2 places in New Haven that
but there's like 2 places
pizza.
and people turn that into Connecticut's got great pizza. Yeah. Connecticut's got two great pizza places, right? That's it.
Exactly.
So Don's going to be at the Funny Stop in Cuyahoga Falls. Shows tonight 7:20, 9:20, and tomorrow night 7:20, 9:20. I'm going with Mikey McNuggets and my buddy Hans, and we're gonna have one other person going as well. So how'd it go last night, and how's the shows going so far?
Yeah, good. Well, we had one show last night, so we got the whole weekend. This earpiece is a pain,
Sucks.
you guys.
Yeah, you can pull it out. You don't,
earpiece?
Yeah.
When we have Moose on, you might need to hear.
Oh, yeah, when Moose comes out, I'll
then,
put it back in. I should use this actually on stage so people can tell me.
Did you have a
the
better
bits.
one when you were doing your TV show, that metal show?
We never used these.
You didn't use these?
No, we were very unprofessional. But I recorded an album at the Funny Stop, which you were a part of the taping.
I was?
You were, yeah.
I didn't realize you were doing an album that day, the last time I was there.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, it didn't seem like there was a lot of laughter, but we recorded an album, and we piped the laughs in, and that's the album that we made called
A lot of laughs
Communication
in
Breakdown.
post-production,
You're right.
right?
Look at
Is
that.
that your high school? Wait, is that your high school picture?
That's, yeah, my high school picture.
Look at those
look
flowing
at that
locks.
hair.
You had the flow going back then.
That worked in Jersey in the 80s.
Yeah, that very much
Yeah,
worked. That's John Bon
appropriate.
Jovi.
Business in the front, party in the back.
Yeah, love it.
But
Is
you were on this. You're on this.
John, is Cleveland generally a good comedic audience?
Yeah, because this Cleveland, the whole Cleveland area, any place like this that's great for sports, it's great for entertainment, got a lot of culture, definitely. This has been, there's a bunch of comedy clubs, you got the big club downtown, you got, Hilarities, and then, the ones on the outskirts like Funny Stop, which, I love playing because it's really no frills, man. You're just coming in and you're getting your laughs, and it's just a lot of fun. And when the room is packed, you can really rock it.
Very cool.
I always said this is one of the most difficult jobs in the world. A lot of people think they funny until they get up there and they got to really go through some material.
Yeah.
Talk about the process and how bad you can look if you really don't have any talent or skills in doing what you're doing and developing.
Wow. Most of the time, you ever have people come up to you and say, oh, so-and-so at my job is hilarious.
Yeah, right.
Those people will never be funny on stage.
They're work funny.
It's always the silent killers.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you got to worry for. Like if I come into town and I work with comics that I don't know, there'll always be the one comic who will race up to me the minute they get, I'm happy to work with you, man. Hey, by the way, I was voted Cleveland's funniest comic, and I write for the Tonight Show, and I'm going to be on SNL next season. And in my mind, I'm going, this guy is going to bomb so bad. But the comic sitting at the bar quietly by himself looking at his notes, that's the guy I got to watch out for.
Yeah. Wow, no kidding.
That guy's prepping. He's getting ready to go on stage and try to blow me off, so I better be ready for him.
Is that what Mike Polk is? Is Mike
Which
Polk
one?
Mike Polk, is he the silent one?
He is. He is a silent
Because
guy.
I've seen his
absolutely.
shows, and I work with them here at Channel 3 and now here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. He is that guy. I mean, he's the work guy that's very funny, but he's funny when he's not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And I think that the gift that all of you guys have is your timing is you're so quick. I think that's just a gift you're born with, right? Your brain processes fast, comes up with funny things to say in a hurry.
What were you gonna say?
You just hit me. I was like, so now everybody is like comedians. The one thing that comedians always had was leeway, right? Nowadays, comedians is getting canceled. Comedians is getting walked up on in stage and swung on. Like, would the Will Smith thing happen? When you're a comedian, do you feel like the progress or as where you guys were, where you're going now, do you feel like you're kind of stifled a little bit as far as your creativity because there's so many different people saying you can't say that, don't say that, that was offensive?
Well, man, I think you could still say the same things, but you just you could do it in a little bit of a different way, which doesn't mean you're selling out or you're copping out or you're bound to the mob. It just means you could actually add another layer to your comedy. Because I'll make fun of all the woke stuff in my act, but all the woke people will laugh at it because, I'm not going out and preaching at them or, trying to tell them how they should live their life. But so the comedy extra gets an extra layer because, if I make fun of hipsters, the hipsters will laugh. If I make fun of the wokesters will laugh. If I, whoever I make fun of, I just want the jokes. If I do political stuff, I want everybody to laugh at it. I don't take one side or the other.
So what are you finding yourself staying away from these days?
That's what's the no-go?
What are you staying away from
no-go?
these days?
Chase, I'm just hoping, Adam the Bull doesn't come up and smack me when I'm
Here, in today's age, you can smack for anything around here. Say
but
something.
I fly a little under the radar. I'm not quite the household name that, Do
you have an area
Chris
that
Rock
you won't go to just because you've learned?
I just talk about what I'm interested in, so then the rest of the stuff just works itself out.
Who's funny to you?
I mean, I think, Dave Chappelle's phenomenal. Bill Burr, who's doing great, who I knew way back in the day, Louis C.K. There's a lot of great comics out there, doing big things now. And, that part of it is, man, you're talking about being quick on your feet. Yeah. You literally got to be quick on your feet just in case. I don't mind getting canceled for saying the wrong thing, but just don't do it, at the funny shop in front of 30 people.
Right.
I'll go out like Chappelle with a Netflix special, but don't take me out in Cuyahoga Falls.
I'll never understand, and I'm a big liberal, and yet I don't care when people make jokes. It's jokes.
Yeah.
If comedians to me can say, I guess almost anything they want, and I don't care.
I'm
Nothing's
surprised to
going
hear
to offend
you say
me.
that. I am.
No, because I'm not going to get offended. I have my political beliefs or my social beliefs, whatever.
Well, when you go to
I'm going to a comedy show, say
laugh.
whatever the hell you want.
All right.
I'm not going to get mad at somebody for doing comedy. That's
All right.
crazy.
Very good.
We'll see.
Can you stick around? We're going to interview the Moose. Daryl Johnston is on. Daryl is the Executive Vice President of Football Operations at the USFL, and this is their big weekend. This is their inaugural season. And they wisely, I think, decided that they were going to play like a Final Four type deal where the two semifinal games are going to be at one location, and we're lucky enough to have them right here in our own backyard. They're going to be at the Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton.
There he is.
And there he is. Moose joins us now on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Daryl, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it. What should we look for? What kind of football should we look for Saturday in these two games? What are we going to see?
I think the best thing that we've done this year is everything's been super competitive. We've only had about 3 or 4 games that have gotten away from us during the 40 regular season games. And we did that because we structured the draft a little bit differently. We didn't just throw in an entire pool. We actually went position by position. So that way the 8 teams were kind of going through the quarterbacks and then onto the edge rushers, onto the offensive tackles. So we kind of prioritized it by those key positions that teams are built around. But we did it where every team exhausted their picks on that position. So I think that really leveled the playing field and kept our teams very, very competitive. And we've seen that throughout the year. I feel bad for the Houston Gamblers. They were probably the hottest team in our league at the end of the season. They knocked off Birmingham, who was undefeated, and then they beat New Orleans in the final week of our regular season. Those are the 2 playoff teams for the South. And that was a team that, was kind of built that way, as we got everybody there. So that shows the parity that we had. And the reason that Houston's not here is because they lost like 3 games on the final play of the game. So that's how competitive we've been throughout the season.
Hey, Daryl, when you look at the long-term future of the USFL, in terms of, obviously this year you played all the games in Alabama, what is the plan going forward to develop home bases in other cities?
Yeah, that we're already in conversations about that for year 2. And I think really the consensus is, can we create for another franchise what we created for Birmingham this year in year 1. And it was really great to see, the fans come out and support the Birmingham Stallions. But unfortunately for the other 7 teams, Birmingham had 10 home games. It didn't matter who was on the other side. If New Jersey was playing Birmingham as the home team, good luck with that. It was a Birmingham crowd. So we'd love to be able to provide that opportunity for another one of our teams. So there's been talk about potentially maybe a North hub, to go along with the South hub. But the one thing that our leadership has done is we're going to grow this league, along the ways of being sustainable. So every decision we make will come to the sustainability of the league and the growth of the league in the right way. So our vision moving forward eventually is to have all 8 of our franchises kind of spin out into their home markets. But it's just what pace do we do that at to make sure that we're doing things, fiscally responsible.
Daryl, how do you guys go about, prospecting and, contacting talent in terms of after the draft happens, you get a bunch of people who may sign free agent deals. You may get a couple next group of people who go to the CFL. Maybe some people do Arena League. Where does the USFL fit in that that process in trying to get the best talent and competing for the best talent and all the best of the rest leagues in terms of, what they, guys picking players, and how do you guys go about that?
Yeah, it gets very competitive out there. We're all kind of competing for that same player coming out of that same pool. Now, where does that pool exist, to your question? You've got some free agents that we have, over the last 3 to 5 years that have had a tough time getting back into the NFL. This was the largest draft class in NFL history with a draftable grade on the players, because we kind of had that COVID situation where it was almost a double draft class. And we talked to a lot of the GMs in the clubs around the NFL, and their numbers of scouted personnel getting ready for the draft, their draft boards were almost 2 times as big as they had been in previous years. So this year, there's going to be a ton of players out there with draftable NFL grades on them that just couldn't get into the NFL, because it doesn't matter how many people are trying to get in. There's a limited number of spots there. So there's going to be a big pool that's out there for us to compete with the other leagues against. There's also some push on the salary cap. I think the other thing that the pandemic did, we saw a drop in revenue with the NFL for the first time ever, and that impacted the salary cap. So you've got a lot of teams that have been kicking that can down the road for a while. The younger player is less expensive than the kind of mid-career vet. So you talk about that middle class. The middle class in the NFL it's hard to find, right? You've got the big contracts at the top. You've got the inexpensive contracts at the bottom to kind of balance that off. So we're looking for that 3, 4, 5 year vet in the NFL that may have been pushed out because of salary cap reasons as well. So we're really trying to focus on anywhere from 2018 to 2022 as we start to build our pools for year 2.
So Daryl, how do you do this? Because as a guy who's played in another league, another sport, you want your league to be a stepping stone for those who are trying to get back to their ultimate goal, which is the NFL, right? How do you distinguish yourself from CFL, Arena Football League, as the USFL being a place where you can come in and get your work, and there's a pathway back, a real pathway back to the NFL? How do you do that, right? Because when the USFL first started out, man, they were snatching people, big-time players out of college coming in.
And then Trump screwed the whole thing up.
Sunk the whole deal, right? But that's how this thing started up. But you're working it backwards now. So how do you do that now?
They had Warren Moon, right? Jim Kelly.
Steve Young.
Reggie White. Steve Young. There's some great players back in the old USFL. But for us, we want to be a standalone professional league. We're not in competition with the NFL, but we know we have to have a relationship with the NFL where we create some synergy that works for both of us. We really think that we provide some assets for the NFL. The offensive line, the quarterback position, you hear it all the time. These guys need to play games. They're not getting taught enough in the college game. We've restricted time in the NFL game when we talk about practice and the opportunity to perfect that craft, especially in those key positions of offensive line and quarterback. So this gives them an opportunity to get players down to us and let them see what it's like to play at game speed. Is one of the big reasons the USFL this year did not limit anything defensively from a blitzing standpoint. Other leagues in the past have restricted what the defenses can do. We want to make sure that our offensive line and our quarterbacks are used to playing against a heavy blitz team, so they can adjust to that if they get that opportunity in the NFL. So, those are some of the big things. We look at us as a standalone professional league and a non-traditional route to get back to the NFL to continue to chase that dream.
Daryl, would you like to share any dirt on Troy Aikman today?
I don't think there is any dirt out there on Troy Aikman. I'm not aware of anything.
Troy Aikman's the perfect human being. What are you talking about, Paul?
Make something up.
I don't think I've ever met one, but if I've met somebody that comes close, it would be Troy Aikman.
Oh, wow.
And I would be remiss if I didn't pub his 8 beer right now. He'd get mad at me.
So, Daryl, I'm just told by our executive producer, who goes by McNuggets, because that's what we call him. We'll put him up on the screen so you can see him. His real name's Mike. Mike, you just told me something that I didn't know. Repeat that.
My middle name's Irvin.
So your name after
my name is Michael Irvin, yeah.
How does a white kid from New Jersey get named after Michael Irvin?
With 2 parents who are Giants fans.
Oh,
figure.
Wow. Yeah, no, I mean, that makes no sense.
They like Michael Irvin. They like the name.
Wow.
But I am Michael Irvin Lucas, so.
That's terrifying to me, to think that your name's after Michael Irvin and your parents are Giants fans. I don't know quite how that happened.
Hey, Daryl, did you know Michael Irvin was going to be such a good actor? We knew he was going to be a good football player, but he's a good actor, too.
Oh, my gosh. Absolutely. I mean, everything he does is animated. I mean, you watch him on the pregame shows. I think everybody saw right then. He's done a lot of promotional things for the Cowboys at the stadiums during game day. I mean, he's very impressive in front of the camera, and he always has been. I mean, this is even going back to his playing days. There's certain guys that you see that you know have a potential to have a career if they want to go into sports broadcasting, if they want to actually take that up a notch and actually get into film. And Michael is definitely one of those guys that can do that.
You've done very well in that space. What do you think about some of the numbers that we're seeing now? Like Tom Brady has never done it. He's obviously the GOAT when it comes to the quarterback position in the NFL, but he's going to make a gajillion dollars in his next career, and he's never broadcasted. It's harder than it looks, isn't it?
It is. We need to have our own little union, to start collectively bargaining for our wages, for the guys that are not on that lead team. If you go back in history, I mean, Joe Montana. I mean, everybody kind of thought the same thing about Joe Montana, and it didn't work out. So there's been a number of guys who've been great football players, but it just hasn't translated. It is a lot of work, and I think the salaries today, these guys don't have to have that second career if they really don't want that. Because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of time away from your family. It's not as much as coaching, and that's really the reason I went into it. I wanted to stay involved with football. It's given me a ton. I feel like an ambassador for the game, because it's given me so many great things. But I did not want to get into coaching because that's too much time away from your family. So I went the broadcasting route, and that's still quite a bit of time away from your family, and it is a lot of hard work. The studio's much different than being out on the road as an analyst. So you got to find out where your comfort zone is there. But I'm excited to see Tom Brady because I think he's a little bit like Troy. When people heard that Troy was going to get into broadcasting, they would see his post-game press conferences and be like, he doesn't tell us anything. I said, well, he's not supposed to. That's his job as the quarterback of the team, is not to tell you anything as a writer. He doesn't want to stir any controversy that you're going to have to unwind during the week. So as the voice of our franchise in Dallas, he was outstanding at controlling the narratives. But boy, if you listen to him in the locker room post-game, just his passion for the game and, immediately being able to dissect what went wrong during the course of the game, you could tell he was going to be really, really good at that. And having had the opportunity to be on production calls or production meetings with Tom Brady, he's kind of that similar thing to Troy where he may seem a little bit bland when you see him in interviews and stuff like that, but that's his job. That's what he's doing. I think everybody should be excited to see, because you're going to get to see really kind of what the true personality of Tom Brady is once he gets on TV.
Hey, I just wanted to say to Moose and everybody at the USFL, thank you for coming back into my life as a long-suffering Jet fan. I now have an alternative league to watch when I'm not crying in my beer over my Jets, and it's good to have the Jersey Generals back.
It's true.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you, they've been our most consistent team throughout the year. They're riding a 9-game winning streak right now. In my opinion, of the Final Four, they're the team to beat. Mike Riley's done a tremendous job. Since day one, week one, they lost a heartbreaker to Birmingham in that opening game. We looked like we were going into overtime on our first game, but Birmingham was able to steal that in the last minute. So this is going to be, hopefully that bookended season where we get Birmingham and New Jersey first week of the season to kick everything off, last game of the season in the championship game, and see if New Jersey can get some revenge on them.
Hey, Moose, real quick, right? 10 years with the Cowboys, but I'm looking at you here. What's up with the grays, bro? What happened, bro?
It's not gray, it's silver. It's silver. It doesn't show age, it shows wisdom and experience.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and by the way, the man asking that question, Brad Sellers, is also. So he's allowed to ask that question.
That's right.
So, Daryl, Mike, did you say you had something, McNuggets?
Only if you want it. We made a graphic for. Never mind. We'll get to it.
All right. I'm getting my traffic wires crossed. Hey, listen, Moose, thanks so much for coming on. It's the Final Four for the USFL this weekend. The games are local, so if you need your football fix and you want to see it, I've looked in on a lot of these games.
Yeah.
It is a very interesting product, and I've seen some talent that, quite frankly, has exceeded my expectations at certain positions. Moose, thanks for coming on, the Executive Vice President of Football Operations for the USFL. I hope you guys have a great weekend attendance out there, and then the championship game a week from Sunday on July 3rd. Moose, thanks. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Yeah, come out and see us this weekend. It's
Appreciate
gonna be, we got Trace Atkins, too, so music and football. You can't.
That's right.
Nice.
That's right. Absolutely.
Gonna be a
Moose
great weekend.
Johnston on the program, Daryl Johnston on the program. Thank you very much. So the thing that I like most about the USFL is that it takes you inside the huddle.
Yeah.
You know, and
That is cool.
That's what I like more than anything is that you hear the conversations. The coaches are mic'd, the players are mic'd. There's cameras everywhere, and I just think whenever you can peel back the curtain and see something closer up than you've ever seen it before as a sports fan, that's fascinating.
I love the fact that they interview the people on the sideline immediately.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen their post-production shows that they show on Fox?
Yeah.
Or when they go inside these teams and they really develop the people on the team, right? They're
trying to
oh
create
man, this thing is
personalities.
nice. I mean, I'm sitting here watching. I'm like, wow. I don't know, these guys with a secondary life here and have a chance at it. And the other thing I do like is this: that when they came back, they brought all the original teams back.
I think there was value.
I think that ultimately the only way to, I know you've brought up having local teams like in Columbus and having Ohio State players, but ultimately they've got to spend the money to try to steal a few possible big names.
Well, I've read a couple of pieces where the lesson they learned from their first time was not to do that. Remember, Steve Young was paid $40 million. At the time, that doesn't sound like a lot of money now. I think his contract was for 10 years at $40 million.
Right.
They were offering Jim Kelly and Herschel Walker and these big names, Doug Flutie. They were getting more money than the league was willing to pay them, the NFL.
Yeah.
And they didn't have that kind of budget, and you can't sustain that for long. So one of the lessons they learned was slow and steady wins the race.
What if you paid them out of high school, young players? You wouldn't have to pay them crazy money.
That's interesting.
What if you, like I was just going to go there. If you come out of high school and say you don't want to go to school,
right?
You use that as a development league.
Okay, now that's interesting.
Then you might get some really good talent, at least for a few years.
And you can watch them develop.
It wouldn't be long before the NFL said, okay, we'll take them out of high school
because
too.
you look at it, you watched the NBA draft last night. How many of those players are going to the G League and Ignite?
Yeah, sure.
That's where they're going.
Heard of most of these guys.
That's where they're going now.
Do you think it would be smart for the NFL to partner with the USFL?
Yes.
They're never going to compete with them. They're a spring summer league.
That's where I was going with
so
that.
So if they partnered with them, so the Browns would have a developmental team.
Right.
And it would be the Columbus whatever.
That would help
and
too.
I would watch them.
I would watch them too because now you've got a tie-in with all so the Giants or the Jets rather would have the New Jersey Generals.
The Jets are already a developmental league, so the team.
Are you watching?
You don't need another sub-team.
Are you watching? Have you guys honestly? Have you guys watched the USFL?
I have.
I've
watched
a couple games.
Yeah, I've watched a little bit of it.
I have no life, so on a Saturday if it's on, I'll put it on. But I find that I usually just on the very first week I thought I would drop in because the curiosity factor, but I stayed a lot longer than I thought I would.
The thing
because the huddle talk. And you could hear so much, and I thought
the broadcasts are quality.
The production is top shelf.
Right.
If that was garbage, people wouldn't watch.
The things that you have to do here is just what you said. You have to ingratiate this to the fans. And there's a pathway. You have to have a linkage between there and the NFL because that's where the people are going to the NFL, right? So people have affinity to watching somebody they saw here at this level make their way through the tracks.
Do you think the NFL would be willing to do it? I would think the USFL would say, yeah, we'd love to have a business connection
I think after
with
this thing plays out here in the next month, they're going to be willing to do a lot.
Why wouldn't they? What's the downside to the NFL?
Yeah.
Fans want immersion, right? They want to be like, you got to make it make sense to them, right? So if you got a subsidiary of the Cleveland Browns, we could talk. We sit here and we know what the numbers is. We say Cleveland Browns, everybody show up. We say anything else, not so much. So why not take advantage of that when you got these organizations? And plus, people want to see development. Now people saying, hey, he a third-year guy, man. I think he can play right now.
Yeah, and you don't have to go through the draft. Right. You can just bring this guy up who's been, killing it for 3 years on your USFL minor league team.
What if if it's in the spring, if you're the Niners, in theory, you could play Trey Lance in that league.
You could, and you could develop players
that's the
that
other
way.
thing. You send players down there to develop themselves.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, you have to make it appetizing. I think that there is not always the traditional route. Here's a case where some players can say, I don't want to go to Maryland. I don't want to go to Northwestern. I'm going to go play for the New Jersey Generals, right? Because they're going to give me a chance to play. And then what you saw like last night in the NBA draft, the NBA teams are like, okay, I'm not going to college. This dude's playing in Australian League over here.
Right.
I'm going to go take the dudes out
with
of Australian
professional. If I'm a kid and I'm a lineman or something, and I get an opportunity and I'm playing with Bill Callahan or I got Jeff Fisher as my coach, these guys know these guys are prototype pro guys. Right. So they know what you're supposed to be running. They know what you need to work on, and you can go right there, right there.
You're not gonna get that in college.
No, you're not gonna get that.
Half the people down in college don't know what the hell they're doing anyway. Right?
Yeah, running the read option.
Speaking of the NFL and the Browns, Don, let me ask you this: would you be, like, when the Browns got Deshaun Watson, right?
Okay.
Our fans were excited. Most of the fans. Some of the fans are angry about it. But I said, don't apologize to other fan bases, because the fans on the other teams that say, well, we wouldn't want him, we dodged him, they're all full of crap. Would you be excited if Deshaun Watson were on the Jets right now?
I can't lie, because that you're 100% right. Yeah. It's you always curse the guy when he's on the other team.
Right.
But then when he comes, well, okay, he's not.
You make excuses, or you say whatever you have to say to make yourself feel good about it.
Yeah, and you could see that in any sport is, when the Rangers had Ty Domi and he was such a bully, and then he's a bully, he can't play. But then if he went to your team.
You loved him.
Yeah, now we got protection for our star player.
Right.
And now we love him. So, I mean, this is a little, because, his stats off the field are piling up too. But I think when he finally gets to play, and, hey, listen, if he has a long career with this team, he'll go down in history as one of the best QBs that the Browns ever had.
Yeah,
no doubt.
He has the potential.
And people will forget.
I realized yesterday that this thing could be worse than any of us thought when I saw Warren Sapp on a podcast making fun of Deshaun Watson.
He was on Vlad TV.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, he was laughing and
what was he doing?
66 women.
Yeah.
This is a guy who
and
Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp. I don't need to remind you what he said.
Warren Sapp.
Warren was mocking and ridiculing.
Not Warren Sapp.
And not just Deshaun Watson, but he basically said this move by the Browns to sign him is all-time stupid. I mean, he just was.
I mean, in the same.
These are dudes from the U, right?
Yeah. The same guy that basically is shunned from anything to do with the NFL right now because he was found to have a prostitute in his room on a Super Bowl road trip, and he kicked her out when she tried charging him more money than they had agreed upon. She said that she was assaulted. He lost his job at the NFL Network, and now
wasn't that your weekend last weekend?
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, when I come into Cleveland, I mean that
what
usually
else
happens.
do?
Might I add?
Hookers in Cleveland.
Hey, what do you have to add?
Might I add that he also said that he found nothing wrong with what John Gruden said in his comments.
And this is a guy that played for John Gruden.
Warren
too.
Sapp said that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, listen, I have had private conversations with guys that played for John Gruden that have defended him vehemently and said, I know I can't do that publicly because I'll get slammed. But they've all said this. Well, I don't want to say all of them. One said, I always looked at that dude like he was a little suspect. But I've had a lot of other players, because I worked in Tampa when Gruden led the Bucs to the Super Bowl, and I have relationships with a lot of former players. They said, John Gruden's not that dude. John Gruden doesn't have a racist bone in his body.
He basically said that.
Will he joke about everything? Yeah, he will. Nothing's off limits. And, Don, you know about that.
Well, yeah, he's opening for me at the Funny Stop this weekend. John Gruden.
Now I'm canceling the Guardians game. I'm coming. Yeah, but that's interesting. The John Gruden thing is super interesting because the guys that have come out, there have been guys that have publicly taken bullets for John and said he's just not that guy. And remember, he was the collateral damage in the whole investigation into the Washington franchise.
Right.
He was the guy that got fired. And he was fired for sending email to the general manager at the time, John Allen, I believe.
Yeah.
And Gruden wasn't even a league employee at the time.
Yeah.
And he got fired, but somehow the owner of the Washington franchise skates.
Well, he shouldn't skate. Doesn't mean John Gruden's okay.
Shouldn't skate, but there are a lot of folks, former players of John's, that say.
I think Jason Whitlock said that too.
By the way, and John's going to get a nice little payday from the NFL.
Yeah.
Because the judge, they asked that case be remanded down to arbitration, which they also just recently did with the I believe the Flores
Yeah,
case.
Flores. Yeah, they just did that too.
The judge said no, this is going to move forward, and I don't think the NFL wants anything to do with that case coming out because Gruden's attorneys, like you said, the NFLPA has weapons of mass destruction. So do Gruden's attorneys, and they're going to pull back the curtain on Washington, and he's going to get a settlement from the league.
On an unrelated note, guys, I did want to get back to Don and some comedy because I have been
Finally.
I have been obsessively listening to like the comedy channels on Sirius. Do you listen to that at all? Like the different comedy channels? Like
I get residuals. Keep listening.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I do.
But you know what's fun? Like sometimes what I don't understand though, and I like listening to comedy, and Netflix is a joke radio is really good. There's some great stuff on there. And there's been times where I'll like go home and I'll Google, because maybe I don't know who the comedian is or whatever, because I don't know everybody certainly. Sure. But the reason I bring it up is because sometimes they'll play bits where you have to be watching it. I'm like, why would they put that on the radio?
Right.
I don't understand that.
You can't have Carrot Top on the radio.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't work. But
no.
I don't know. But does anybody else listen to comedy on the radio?
I do. I listen to all of the channels. I go back as soon as I hear a comic that I don't like, I go immediately to another channel.
I don't like what's his name?
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
Yeah.
I'm looking for your name, and I'm I got to dial in.
Jeselnik. That guy rubs me the wrong way. Maybe I don't know if you're friends with him or you know him.
Sebastian Maniscalco? Is that
Maniscalco. You don't like him?
No, I love him.
He's good.
I love him. I saw him at Rocket Mortgage.
He's big. He's a big comic.
About 6 months ago.
Yep.
Does a terrific show. Very, very entertained. I love comedians. Like you. I think it's the absolute hardest job in the world. Forget
and everybody thinks
golf.
they can do it, as we said before.
It is.
Speaking of,
it's like our job in a way that everybody thinks they can do it.
We can't hear the people booing us and heckling us.
Well, we can on Twitter, sure.
If you look at it, you can, but if you can choose to ignore it. If you're performing at a house, you can't turn out the boos.
That's true.
And I think it's the most ruthless crowd in the entertainment game.
But you
now
go
you're
after
scaring me. I don't want to.
You go after people if they mess with you, right? You do.
You have to. You have to shut them down, don't you?
Right. You got to control the crowd.
Right.
You have
because then the rest of the crowd won't respect you if you let just somebody take control of the show. So you got to.
I've always wondered, and I'm glad you're here because now I'll find out. I think the really good ones disarm the heckler immediately. Do you have a set of go-to lines that you're prepared for, or you just react in the moment?
No, that was a mistake I made early on in my career, which was, all right, the first time you get heckled and you're shook from it, So I remember I went home and I wrote all these lines, your mother this and your sister that. But and then next time I went on stage, I'm ready now.
Right.
No, not at all. Because then I realized, now I started using these lines and the crowd would be like, oh my God, where's this guy coming from? And they were turning on me because I was being too rough
and
on the
heckler.
heckler.
That's the worst thing that can happen.
Right. So now they're on his side.
Yeah.
And I've lost the crowd. So
you're nice to them?
No, I mean, I take every situation differently, man.
Wow.
Just depends on in the moment
What
how
a
I'm
skill
feeling.
that is, though.
If I know I have the crowd, then I'll just come back I'll just slam them with something, hard.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to finesse it. You got to let out a little rope so that they can hang themselves.
Right.
Nice.
And sometimes that's the most satisfying when you drag it out because as soon as I pull the noose, it's over.
Is it happening more often now or less?
No, that's the other thing, and we've been discussing, earlier about you brought up about do you feel restricted? The honest truth is that a lot of the people who are triggered and sensitive, they don't come out to comedy shows anymore. They all stay home. So honestly, the crowds have been better post-COVID, even though we're 100 times more PC than we used to be.
Okay. Yeah. What is your writing process like? Like, when you coming up with material and you thinking of something, what is your process like in just kind of, figuring out what direction you want to go if you're in certain places and cities?
Just something. Usually, I'm like Bull. When I get angry about something, I gotta let it out. I gotta scream and yell about it. So I'll just start. I write everything down by hand first, and I'll write this thing out, and I'll be, like Adam the Bull screaming, and then, then I'll let it sit for a couple hours, then I'll go back when I'm calm, and I'll realize it's just a 2-line joke. All that other stuff, it's just me letting off steam, and that's usually how it happens. It usually turns out this big paragraph, and then I kind of hone it down to the essence. But I do a lot of storytelling now too, which I find helps with the PC crowd. You could get away with more stuff if it's in the form of a true story about your life.
Your sets usually last how long?
It's 45 minutes.
45 minutes to an hour.
I can't. There's another guy. There's another guy performing with you tonight. I can't. I don't know him, but I can't pronounce his last name.
Mark Riccadonna.
Okay. He's not like you guys just ended up together, or you work together?
No, we're friends.
Okay.
And we call when we work together, we call each other the evil twins of comedy. And yeah,
Gotcha.
He's got the halo above. I'm the devil somehow.
Oh, he's the good guy. He's the nice guy.
Yeah, but you got to watch out. You know, it's always the quiet guys who are the biggest deviants.
Yeah, he looks a little
right?
like Jared from Subway. You know.
Oh wow!
I never.
He went there.
Call him that tonight.
Yes, that's
Ball,
why
and
it's
see
an
what
18 and
happens.
over show.
Yeah.
No, but Mark's a great guy, and many pounds ago, years ago when Mark was thinner and didn't wear a beard, we looked remarkably alike.
Okay.
And so we became the evil twins because like I'd come into Cuyahoga Falls and sometimes I'd get in a little bit of trouble or whatever city.
Yeah.
And then he'd come in a week or two later and he'd have to, suck up all the wrath of my bad behavior while I was in town because they all thought he was me. They'd be like, "Oh, you're the comedian from a couple of weeks ago." He goes, "No, that's not
my evil
me.
twin."
That's the evil twin.
So you're obviously a huge sports fan. Will you work any Browns, Deshaun Watson into your show? Because I know a lot of times you guys like to weave in current events, but is that a no-go for you?
I do about a half hour on the XFL. And it's really big with the kids. They love that stuff.
They all remember it.
John Gruden's going to be coaching there.
You won't go there, will you? You won't go to Deshaun.
Like I said, I'll go anywhere. It doesn't matter
Really?
to me. I mean, I feel like maybe I wore this shirt on stage last night, and I slept in it, and I woke up in it. I'm wearing it here. I was even afraid when I went on stage last night. Is this shirt offensive?
How was it received?
Cleveland Indians with the
I bet the
Chihuahua
fans
on
applauded
it.
that.
Yeah, people loved it. You know. But
Yeah.
I bought this at a game, not a Guardians game, obviously, but
Yeah.
So no, I mean, I don't think anything. If you can make something funny, that's all that matters. I don't look at something as like this is offensive or that's offensive or this is you're right wing or you're left wing. It's just if it's funny, it's funny.
And worry about that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
when you say what do you stay away from topics, if I talk about something I'm passionate about, like you guys are about sports, that comes through. So it doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't come from a place of like hate or anger. It comes from a place of like, this is something I'm passionate about. I want to give my point of view on it. Hopefully it's different from other comics. Maybe they come from this direction. Hopefully if I come from this way, I could put a different twist on it.
What's your favorite city to play?
I could pander and say Cleveland.
Besides Cleveland. We know Cleveland's your favorite.
Well, obviously, I recorded an album, like I said, at the Funny Stop. So I am. He knows I'm very partial to this part of the country. You get me. You people get me somehow. But I don't know. Like I said, those cities that are big with, just all around with entertainment, sports, concerts, and things like that. So, and blue collar, let's face it, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Dallas, places like that.
Detroit?
Detroit, I seem to do really well in those kind of places.
If you're a comedian, first of all, if you're a comedian and there's up-and-coming comedians out there, obviously, if we want to talk sports, right, you can go to media school, communication school, you could do things like that. Comedians, I don't know if that's just regular life or you just go through it. If there's a comedian who blanks in the middle of his set, like what's like a cardinal rule or something to get you back into the groove?
Has that ever happened to you?
Has that happened?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It still happens once in a while, but I usually just say, I just blanked. I just call myself
fans appreciate that. You're being real.
And then I'll just ask somebody in the audience, where did I leave off? I totally forgot.
Will you freestyle? Will you kind of like will you freestyle and then get back? And then they're like, okay, I get back in my head. I got the other material. This is where I was at.
Yeah, I always figure if I get hem and haw long enough, I could get the train back on the tracks. But honestly, I kind of like when the train goes off the tracks a little, I kind of like the unpredictability. Every comic has a different...
We do too on this show.
Yeah, right.
we tend to do better when
when you got to stretch for when McNuggets is doing this, and you got to go, and
we've never seen him do that, by the way.
No.
He's usually telling us. We've seen him go like this all the time, but we've never seen him stretch.
Yeah.
No. That hasn't happened.
But so it happens, man. It happens to the best of us, and usually it's just because I get caught up in a moment, and I just literally forget where I am, and then someone will yell it out, and I'll go, oh, I like an audience that pays attention,
right?
And then it'll pop back into my head. But everyone has their own way of dealing with their set. I like to just come up with the first joke. and then see where it goes from there.
Best comedy. This is a random question that I don't know if you could possibly have an answer for, but I'm asking it anyway. Best comedy club food you've ever had?
Oh man,
I mean, you've been to a million clubs probably. Is there anything that stands out? Like
they're usually
or
not
is usually
known for
comedy
their-
club
for
food
their
just
cuisine.
all crap?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to rate food that comes in a plastic basket with a sheet of paper.
Because every once in a while somebody tell me, this strip club's got great chicken wings or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, where have those chicken wings been?
Yeah.
You know? So
God, did you always know you wanted to be a comic? How did that happen?
No, I never did. I mean, I just, but I always loved comics, and I met, I met Chappelle when he was like 15.
Really?
And he's a guy that was a natural. That you just knew. He was one of the rare few who was like, okay, he's destined to do this. So no, for me it was just it was a lot more work, But maybe the blue collar thing for me comes from my dad would climb telephone poles for a living, man, and he'd work 12 hours and he'd come home and he'd get in bed and then I'd hear the phone ring, and I'd hear all right, I'll be in. And I'd hear his feet hit the floor. I'd hear him put his boots on, and he got called back in. A pole went down in the middle of the night, and he tried so hard to make me work with my hands when I was a kid, and none of it rubbed off whatsoever. But the blue collar attitude did.
Sure.
You go when work calls, you go to work, you bust your ass.
Yeah.
You don't half-ass anything.
That's
and
why
if you don't
Cleveland
like
loves you right there.
If you don't like a gig, you
Yeah.
still do it 100%. You never have to do it again. But if you get if someone pays you to do something, you do it right.
And that's Cleveland, really. I mean, that's what our people are about.
I didn't know. I just looked at. I'd be noticing stuff like they had these TVs back here. I just didn't even notice. Right? They've been here since day one. I just didn't know. I didn't know you was on the metal show.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, that you put that in the
I told
notes
you
last
that
night.
already. What are you talking
Yes.
about?
Yes.
So when I first texted about him coming on, I said he was one of the hosts of the metal show.
So now we got all kind of questions. Hey, when did metal die? What year did? Wait,
is it dead?
No. Hard rock and metal, it's ebbs and flows.
Got it.
It never ever dies.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like
on
it's
resuscitation.
low. Yeah, but then it's grown back again. Like if you see, like one of the things we yelled about on the show for 14 seasons, me and my two co-hosts, which we did a show very similar to this, sat around a table and debated things that to maybe most people they'd be like, why? Who cares about who the Browns drafted over this person or whatever? So, but we did it with music, and we yelled and screamed about your great institution here. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which, they pretty much let anybody in except people in metal. They really discriminated against people in metal.
Weird.
And
Dolly Parton's going in this year.
Right, Dolly Parton's in
not
there.
exactly a rocker.
LL Cool J and all this.
Jay-Z
and I'm all cool with the inclusivity of it, but they really did have a bias against metal bands. They wouldn't put Kiss in. They wouldn't put a lot of Black Sabbath in, all these bands. And I'd like to think we made enough noise to where they started listening a little bit, and then all these bands started to get in. Kiss did get in, and Rush finally got in, and Black Sabbath, and Metallica, and Guns N' Roses, and so I think we made a little impact.
I may have asked you this before. I can't remember, but what is with? I remember as a teenager. Because when we were kids, I mean, you're how old are you? You're similar age to me.
Yeah,
31.
Whatever.
You'll be 32.
All right, whatever. Kind of. So, but I remember as a kid, like, there was always a lot of controversy, like the hardcore metal. Like, I wasn't a hardcore metal kid, but like the kids that were hardcore into were like, oh my God, the band just went out of my head. Metallica. They were like, Metallica's not heavy metal. That was always a big controversy. Yeah. So end this controversy. If you go, is Metallica heavy metal?
It's in the name.
But am I right that people? But am I right that a lot of metal guys were like they're not, or they were, and then they weren't,
sold
or whatever.
out. They cut their hair. God forbid you get a haircut.
How could you be metal with short hair, shorter hair?
People.
Isn't the point of metal to not judge people, basically?
Yeah,
right. Like be who you want to be. Whatever you want to do. Be crazy.
I do a whole bit in my act about the stereotypes of our people and our genre, but the truth is, it's the most inclusive music that there is. We've had iconic gay lead singers, iconic black lead singers, female musicians, You know, so it's everything in one, which is what I always loved about it. But yes, the fans can be petty and get into these crazy, like sports fans, you could get into once you get into the minutia of stuff, it starts to get. It's like it's sports.
If it's
fun.
metal to you, it's metal. Who
That's
cares
right.
if anybody else thinks it's metal?
That's true.
Right.
And we had everybody
whatever.
from Heart to Metallica on the show, so it wasn't just heavy metal. It was from classic rock all the way up to guys like
When
Metallica.
there used to be music videos on MTV.
Man, back in the day.
Man.
There's not even, forget just metal, there's not even that much rock and roll, period, anymore.
Music is a mess now. I don't think music has ever been more messed up than it is right now.
Yeah?
I mean, that's just, I'm just not a fan.
Do you
and
like
I know
it
that's
right
an
now?
old man statement. I don't like the new stuff.
I like,
listen to is
you'll
the old
probably
stuff.
make fun of me, but I like Train.
Well, the train is.
And I like yourself up.
I like Imagine Dragons.
You know what? My guest list I forgot. My guest list is full tonight. I'm sorry.
Pull those seats full.
Yeah, you guys can come.
well, I'm guessing the train has left the station because we got to go to break.
Yeah,
McNuggets
is
Everybody
giving us
go
the hardcore.
see Don tonight, 7:20 or 9:20 tomorrow night, 7:20 or 9:20.
What show are you going to tonight?
I'm going to 7:20. Mikey McNuggets is going. We're going to have a couple other people as well.
Nice.
7:20 or 9:20, the Funny Stop in Cuyahoga Falls.
Don, thanks for
There you
coming
All right,
in. We
man.
appreciate it.
Hey,
Thank you
hey,
very much.
Thanks, Don.
Don Jamieson,
Really
one of the evil twins of comedy. We're going to take a quick break. We've got much more coming back on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Stay with us.
Man, he's a real.
Hey, it's Adam the Bull for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and I'll tell you what I think of when I think of Cleveland sports. It's that everybody loves it. I've been to other parts of the country, and there's people that love sports and people that don't care. But in Cleveland, everybody cares even a little bit from every walk of life, and that's what makes this city special. Whether it's football, baseball, or basketball, it doesn't matter. The people of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio love their teams like nowhere else in the country.
News you can trust should be news you can rely on.
And every night at 11 on What's Next, you can rely on us.
A new legal twist for Brown.
Today also marks the beginning of
We're here, and we are going to continue.
So the Guardians have to play almost. You can rely on us to help you go to bed better informed with stories that prepare you for tomorrow.
And with news that's relevant to your life. We'll make sure that you're ready for what's next.
Because being ready for tomorrow is what matters most.
Hey Cleveland, it's Adam the Bull. And if you love sports as much as I do, then you've got to be watching the new Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. But if you don't have 2 hours to watch it live or on YouTube, well, there's a podcast version, so you're in luck. Listen to it anytime, anywhere. We're doing things on this show that no one else is doing. We're getting crazy. Find out for yourself. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
We face challenges every day, some bigger than others, and we never know what's around the corner.
Through the highs and the lows, whatever we face it together. Each morning on Go, we are here with the facts, because what impacts you impacts all of us.
And understanding those facts helps us to make informed decisions for our families, our communities, and our future.
We are here for you every step of the way. Go, weekday mornings, 4:30 to 7 a.m.
Pick.
No, everybody loves that pick.
Who?
Abaji?
Who loves it?
Everybody.
I like it.
I saw 3 A+ grades on it. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We're gonna do that right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the Cavs draft last night.
Hey.
And I think.
I like
Did I
that.
hear you right? You were saying everybody's killing the pick.
No, I'm not saying everybody. 2 guys that I trust who are like analytics guys who are not big, sexy names. that everybody
Analytics
knows.
guys, I throw them
I
right
trust
out.
these guys more than
I
some
throw 'em
dope
out.
on CBS Sports that gives a grade.
No, look here. Look at that. This is the
Here's what I'm hearing.
Ochai Agbaji, by the way, he was probably. I think he was the best player in college basketball last year. He was the best player on the best team.
Be clear, this kid can play, right?
Yes.
Right. So he's a good pickup for the Cavaliers.
What do you give him? What's the grade?
I gave him an A+. I mean an A pick because he's a nice player, very nice player. But if you think
He's a role player, isn't he?
Listen here.
No
Well,
upside.
that's what
I'm
we
hearing
need.
no
Let me
upside.
tell you,
No upside.
You're filling out. No.
You don't need a corner post right now. You need a roll guy.
No. What he's talking about is go talk that with the Knicks. All right, they got more problems, right? We're building pieces here. I was listening to Jason yesterday when Jason was talking about I don't like
the height that the Cavaliers were marking at the 3, I like, Jason, you're crazy, right?
Really?
That's the thing that sets them apart. Now you need additional players. So the pick last night was an excellent pick, right? He's not the key piece here, right? I believe still the key piece.
The key piece is already here.
No, the other piece that they need is going to have to come in free agency. You weren't going to get that at 14.
The missing piece.
Yeah, you weren't going to get that at 14.
Missing piece.
Right.
Let me give you the stat, though.
No, I agree.
I don't need the stats.
Let me give you a stat.
No, I don't need the stats because these eyes.
That's what I trust.
These eyes
I trust
here
what the eyes
tell me
tell me.
everything.
Let me just give you a stat.
Okay,
give
tell
us
me the
one.
stats.
Since 2006.
Okay.
This kid's 22 years old.
Yep.
Okay.
Since 2006, not that this necessarily means
I know
anything.
where you're going with this.
Since 2006, there have been 77 players drafted in the first round that were 22 and older. The only 2 that ever made an all-star team, Noah and Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, and
So we're not on that, right? The core of your team is here,
yes,
right?
he
The
doesn't
core of your
need to
team
be an
is here.
all-star.
We don't need
He is
that.
a role guy.
So
Would you rather draft a guy with upside than a role guy?
That's what I'm saying. The problem here, this is where you find players. It's not the analytics. It's these 2 things on your face and your knowledge of the game, right? You have to see it. We needed players that can help us, right? When we got down to the playoff run last year, when we were playing the play-in, we didn't have people that could step in and help us.
And
right?
score.
Right.
There were stretches we didn't have anybody that could score the ball.
Have that. Now you got another piece to the puzzle that we already have here.
Right.
So we have other players, and the missing piece is in free agency. That's where it is, right? I don't think we hurt ourselves at all. As a matter of fact, I looked at all 4 selections. I love the fact that they went and got Mobley's brother.
You love that?
Yeah, I watched
let's
that.
talk about that.
I watched that 2 years ago, and I was like,
He played
get
with
his
them at
brother.
USC.
Go
He
get his
is
brother.
good.
I said,
By
go
the
get
way,
his brother, too.
that's Evan's older brother.
I said, so here's the deal, right? The Cavaliers did a great job yesterday. I don't listen to these grades, right? We have pieces of the puzzle that we need, right? And the way that you find these pieces is get out in the trenches and find out who can play. It's not who scored 30, who grabbed 18 rebounds. I need a piece.
Mobley's brother has a different skill set. He can bring the ball up the court. He can step back. He's a terrific passer at the elbow. He's 6'10". He moves well.
To develop his shot.
He got the range.
Talk about the Warriors, right? How many people did the Warriors plug in all the way through that you never heard of?
Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
Never heard of.
No, that's what the Warriors do best.
Right.
So I know Bull said he's not like you're not going to get an all-star at 14. It's very rare that happens. It could happen.
So
he might
don't
make
try?
a team or 2. No, it's not don't try.
Yeah.
I always look at an NBA team,
Yeah.
and I look at it this way because a former player told me this. Look at an NBA team like a puzzle, and there's 4 corners. When you start your puzzle, what do? You build the edges first, right?
Right.
So he said, you need 4 corners. So you're sifting through 1,000 pieces, and you're looking for your 4 corners. I believe, and I hope I'm not just being a homer here, I think we have our corners.
Yeah, you do.
I think now we're finding other edge pieces, and then you can start filling out, like the Warriors, the beauty of the Warriors, they had their 4 corners and their edges, and now they're plugging in all these super role players, very defined role players.
Don't you think the Cavs, you probably weren't going to get it at 15 fair, or it was 14?
14.
But don't you think they need one more core piece?
I don't know. That's why I said I hope
Bull, you're missing
right.
the point. Bull, they did get a core piece. It
Right.
just happened to come with the 56 pick. Take the picture, Steve. Do you guys know who they took 56 overall? This hair can't fail.
Yeah, he's from
This hair
Australia,
can't
too.
fail.
No.
That is the missing piece for this Cavaliers team.
No, that guy. I don't want that guy.
Get the train.
I don't want that guy, Bulls.
Get the train.
That guy
back
looks like he should be living in a trailer park, not playing basketball.
Get the train back on the track because the core piece that you're looking for is coming in free agency. I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to tell
So
you.
you think this kid's going to be good?
I think he's a great
He's a piece.
addition
He's a
to
nice
this,
piece.
to
Okay.
this
He's
te-
already good.
to this team.
But
He's the most outstanding player
What's
in the Final
funny
Four
is
last
that
year in the
yesterday
national
everybody
championship
wanted the kid from Ohio State. They passed on him, and we're like, yeah, this was the right guy.
Listen,
And he fell, though. Brandon fell. I mean, it wasn't just the Cavs.
He went not long
20th.
after the
20th.
Cavs. Right, but I think we had everybody yesterday that came on.
Yeah.
I think it was between the 2. I think everybody was saying Branham because everybody was saying, well, that's the fit because he's an Ohio guy. And
one other
it makes
stat,
sense.
and again, I don't know squat about this guy. He may be a good player. I'm not saying it's a bad pick or good pick, but just another stat I found interesting. Take it, ignore it, do whatever you want.
All right.
There's been 23 wing players drafted in the last decade that had an assist rate below 10%. He has a terrible assist rate in college.
See,
listen, I'm giving you a stat. Our fans don't like it.
Go give me Street Smith magazine while you're out here. So I would just tell you here.
They've all been bad players except for Andrew Wiggins.
Think about this. This is why I'll just give you this for food for thought.
Yeah.
Karl Malone was number 13 pick.
Yep.
Mark Price was in the second round. Dennis Rodman was in the second round.
Sure, there's
right?
value.
You can't get superstars at 14.
There are players out here that if you go by the stats, the numbers produced is not going to show. Until you get into that rectangular box out there, you're not going to know what anybody has.
I'll give you another stat, and you'll be able to understand this because you were a college basketball fan at a time when this was very much true. They got the most outstanding player from the Final Four and the best player on the championship team. Now, I know college is much different now. But once upon a time, back in the day, when guys stayed in school 3 and 4 years, if you were getting the MOP from the Final Four and the best player on the best team, you were thrilled with that. And we got him at 14.
Right, the best players are not seniors.
I know they're not. I know it's different, but it is what it is.
And the analytics thing, I get it. But there's a certain thing that we've already, like, we love analytics when it comes to everything else but getting buckets. Like, we love his height. He can defend. He got length. You'd be like, but he averages 5 points, 3 rebounds, and he fouls a lot. You got, like, at some point in time, you got to look and say, all right, that person gets buckets against these guys at a high level, and he's doing it.
Gee, what happened to the eye test?
That's why I pointed to you when you said, I don't need analytics. And I think I'll use this for all sports, and this is one of the things that I most hate about today's sports. It's being run by pencil pushers from Harvard that are crunching numbers, and when you do that, why do you even need to watch the game? If someone gives you a stat sheet and says his OPS is, he hits this against lefties, there's still something to be learned, and there's great value in, Brad, what you said, this right here.
Yeah, Moneyball works better than Scouts, so.
Moneyball's a joke.
No, it works.
No, Moneyball is a joke.
I get what you're saying in terms of salary, but.
No, I mean the movie Moneyball was a fraud.
Well,
did they ever mention Miguel Tejada or that they had the best starting pitching staff in baseball in the movie Moneyball?
No.
They made it seem like
I'm not talking about the movie, though. I'm talking about the book more than the movie.
Yeah, I just think
the story, analytics work. I mean, this idea that the eye test works better than analytics is not true.
You know what I think works?
Yeah.
Blending analytics
with
this.
Absolutely, I agree.
And I think that's why the
both.
Guardians are so good. I think Terry has embraced numbers.
Yeah.
But he's also the guy in the room that's saying, yeah, but let's also watch and see what we can find out.
The other thing is you have to understand the dynamics of that team, right? What are the pieces that are needed? What are the puzzle pieces, right?
And analytics aren't going to tell you that.
No, they're not going to tell you that, right? Only by seeing it and knowing that I need a guy like this, right? And he may not work for the Sixers. He may not work for the Knicks.
Right.
But a guy like this on my team.
System.
You know who else uses analytics? Every team in the NBA, including the Warriors.
But you know
they all use it. Yes. You're dumb if you don't.
Yes.
But if you're making all your decisions based on numbers,
you know what's dumb?
You're missing the
shooting 2-pointers just inside the three-point line. That's dumb.
Here's the numbers that count is we need that read.
Yeah, we've got
We've got to go. G-Bush, thank you.
Last thing real quick.
We need that read.
Let me make it clear. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I was just sharing some statistics.
All right.
I don't know squat about this kid.
There we go.
Okay.
Let's get
we have
to it.
3 segments. We're going to get in the next 14 minutes. We're going to do airfoils with what the internet's saying. We're going to do round stone with top 5.
You're wasting time by saying what we're going to do. Let's go.
So let's go. Are you looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio, and all locations of PCC Airfoils at Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus, get a full benefit package, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. So we asked the internet.
PCC?
Using only a GIF, what's your reaction to the Ochai Agbaji pick? And we had 4 responses, and they're just as split as you guys. Steve, let's take the first GIF. That's exactly what that
nobody's
GIF
ever
is
doing
saying.
cartwheels over the 14th pick.
Well, you'll see the next one.
Okay.
This person is doing cartwheels.
All right.
Well, he's giving a Shooter McGavin
shooters
gun,
in the
which
house.
will always, if you put that in the response to one of
that's
these
always
questions,
gonna
it
make
will
air.
always be chosen.
Yeah, that never gets
All
old.
right, next one, Steve. Larry David?
Can't go wrong with Larry David.
Yeah, no,
Can't go wrong with Larry David. And the last one, Steve. Well, Michael Scott dancing. So just like this panel, we have a very mixed reaction to the internet.
No, it's
had a
not
mixed
mixed.
reaction
They
to.
like it, and I'm neutral. I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy. I'm not going to give a strong opinion or whatever. I don't know.
I do like it. I like it a lot. I know you seem to like it.
I think it's a quality pick. I think this is not the number 1 pick in the draft.
No, I know.
And I agree with you. Draft grades are so stupid.
Right.
We'll see how he is when he plays.
Right. Okay. So now
we are going straight to Roundstone for
great.
the ultimate 5 of the best brothers to ever play in the NBA.
Ooh.
Based on the fact the Cavs just drafted Isaiah Mobley.
Real quick, Mike, I'm going to cut you off because I don't want to forget about this, and I already forgot about it until now. But at some point, we need to do a top 5 for all of us on the panel. You have to do it. Top 5 actors that would play us in the UCSS movie. We do one for Jay, one for G, one for Brad, one for me, one for Mike, one for Tyvis. You have to plan all those top 5 lists over the next month.
All right.
Okay. Remind me after this when we
No,
have more
I'm
than
going to
12
forget
minutes
about it.
to
That's
get
why I
through.
reminded
All
you
right, let's
now.
go.
But go ahead.
Roundstone is the sponsor of the Ultimate 5. Roundstone offers a better alternative for affordable quality health care. For more than a decade, Roundstone Insurance has been saving small and mid-sized businesses money, an average of 20%. 20%. G-Bush, what'd you do? Contact us today to learn how you can save money and get great health care benefits that your employees will love as well. G-Bush is making me laugh.
Byron Leftwich on the top 5 for playing G-Bush.
Byron Leftwich, too.
Same
But
person.
when he I told him he looked like Warren Sapp. Take off your glasses and do the dip thing. Guys, I covered him for 5 years. Can we get a close-up? That is absolutely Warren Sapp.
Dip is so gross.
Yeah, and the eyes. You got to make the surprise eyes.
Yeah.
Next question.
I'm saying. Is there?
Dude, that is fantastic. That is absolutely. We need a split screen of Warren Sapp and G-Bush because the eyes, bro. He always used to do that. Sit back in his chair.
Will you be wide awoke? Dang, Warren.
All right, let's do the top 5 now, and then we'll talk about the Guardians and send you guys off on your weekends. The 5th best set of brothers to ever play in the NBA. Steve, let's take it. Giannis and Thanasis Antetokounmpo. Giannis, top 15, top 20 player already, 2-time MVP, NBA champ, defensive player of the year. Thanasis adds 0.000001% to the equation, but those two already together
You know what?
are top 5.
That reminds me, I told Brad Sellers about this quote. One of my favorite sports quotes of all time was after Jordan dropped 59 or something in a playoff game. They were interviewing Horace Grant, and he said, I'm always going to remember this as the night that Jordan and I teamed up for 60. He had 1 free throw.
Hey, Brad, what did I tell you when we talked for the first time about me, Steve, and how many Emmys together we have?
Oh, yeah, well, listen, you already called your number, right?
By the way, Tyvis says Giannis is the greatest basketball player ever.
Yes.
You better straighten him out next time you see him.
Tyvis is a good young man.
He's a nice kid.
Tell him to worry about holding on to them goals.
By the way,
I love
that's
Tyvis.
like Joe and Dom DiMaggio are the greatest brothers in baseball history.
Yeah, to me,
Dom didn't bring much to the party.
As good as Giannis is, the other brother has got to at least be, a serviceable NBA player.
But like Bronny's going to be an NBA player one day.
I think his brother's below the line, where he doesn't really count.
That's the only one of these
Where's
brothers.
Steph and Seth Curry?
They're on this list. Don't worry.
They have to be.
The question is, would his brother be in the league if Giannis wasn't here?
No. Well,
but he is.
Some
so
might question that Mobley wasn't going to be drafted unless the Cavs took him.
Well, no, then you wasn't watching USC.
I like
if
that.
you saw USC.
No, USC, and he was a nice player.
When I saw those, and this was 2 years ago, and I was like, that's nice.
Giannis' brother playing for the Canton Charge, bro. Charge.
Yeah. He's coming off the bench for the Canton.
Number 4.
Let's keep moving along. Number 4, Al and Dick McGuire. They're the only pair of brothers to both be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. And I'll be honest, I did not know they existed before this point.
I forgot about
Al
those
McGuire's a broadcaster.
Well, you know Al McGuire is from his broadcasting.
Yeah, but I didn't know.
You didn't know he played in
they
the
both
NBA.
were in the NBA.
I had no clue.
All right.
Al McGuire.
Shout out
I mean, come on. Those guys were PBG.
And the Marquette Warriors.
Number 3. You guys all know what that meant?
So, yeah,
we're not allowed to say that.
We aren't?
I'm not. All right, number 3. We mentioned it earlier. Steph and Seth Curry. Steph, borderline top 10 player of all time, 2-time MVP, 4-time champ, the best shooter ever. Seth's a valuable contributor on not just one
solid
playoff
team.
He's severely underrated in the grand scheme of things. And there's a slight gap between the Currys and number 2. I think number 2 have it right now. but I think in 5 years it'll be the Currys. And I guess we'll go right to number
Gerald
2.
was a good player.
Yes, he
Yeah,
was.
Dominique and Gerald Wilkins.
Gerald Wilkins was a good player.
Gerald Wilkins has 12,000 career points, by the way.
Jordan
12,000, which is a lot more than
I would put the Currys ahead of him, but Gerald Wilkins was a good player.
Gerald was a lot better than people think. Okay, now wait. Before you do number 1, should we try to guess what his number 1 brother pair is going to be?
Why am I not thinking of it?
I can't think of
probably
anybody.
It's got to be an obvious one.
It's obvious.
So if it's obvious, I
Let's
think
see. Bird didn't have a brother. Magic didn't have a brother. Kareem didn't have a
Isaiah
brother.
Thomas,
It's not the Van
Wilt.
It's not the Van Arsdales.
What about the Grants?
What era did they play?
Recent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Then we got to get it then.
You talk about it's the Lopez twins.
No, I do love Brooke Lopez.
No, they're
but
not in the list.
By the way, you should have put the Lopez twins over
the Collins twins.
McGuires.
The Alan Dick McGuire.
Collins twins,
They're both in the
Lopez
Hall of Fame.
twins.
They're both in the Hall of Fame.
It's not legit. Again, nobody PVG.
But is Allen
is
because
is
of
not
his
legit.
broadcast, or was he an NBA?
I'm trying to think.
Was he a great
who we
NBA player?
missing?
I can't believe you guys aren't getting this, by the way. Yeah, you want to read their credentials real quick?
Oh, go ahead.
One is a 2-time NBA champion, a 6-time All-Star, a 4-time All-NBA player, nearly 21,000 career points, a bona fide surefire Hall of Famer, and his brother is also an NBA champion, a 3-time All-Star.
Oh, the Gasol.
Gasol.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
Mark
Take
Gasol.
it, Mark and Pau Gasol.
There you go.
Yeah.
The
That's
GOAT
it.
brothers
Yeah.
in NBA
Yeah,
history.
they accomplished his head.
You know, father-son would be a good one to have.
We'll do that.
Yeah, by the way-
Nances would be good.
Yeah.
Currys.
Currys.
The Currys obviously would be great.
You still got that wrong, because they should be third. Come on, stop it.
And the Lopez twins, I think. I take the McGuires
How-
out. I know
how-
the
Wait, how would you have them third?
Because Curry and Dominique are all-time great players. The Gasols are not all-time great players.
Pau
Not
Gasol's
at
gonna
that,
be-
not at
Gasol's
that
a Hall of
level.
Famer.
They're gonna be Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Both of them.
What?
Who is it?
Mark Gasol is going to be a Hall of Famer?
He's a multiple-time defensive player of the year.
So what?
Anybody gets into the basketball.
The Basketball Hall of Fame.
If you
is
drive
ridiculous.
by the Hall of
First
Fame
of all,
in Springfield, they
it
invite you in.
There should be an NBA Hall
I'm
of Fame.
driven by. I'm not in.
Yeah, right.
How are you not in? How are you not in?
Let me tell you something.
That counts.
Steph
We need to
Curry
start a
and
campaign to
Dominique
get
Wilkins are
Brad
top
in.
25 players all time.
Yeah, but they're brothers.
They're brothers,
It
not.
It doesn't matter.
Of the
You
two.
put
Hold on,
Giannis and his
you can't
small
get
brother
mad
who
at me
can't
for
play.
having Giannis and his brother who doesn't
I mean,
play.
Mark Gasol was really good at his prime.
He's
was.
2-time
He was.
All-NBA,
He was.
All-NBA twice, Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time All-Star.
All
and a
NBA
champion.
because they had to force feed a center in there. There's no good centers.
By the
in
way,
there.
the
NBA is
McGuires are in the Hall of Fame as coaches. I looked it up because
That's
I thought,
embarrassing.
I thought that
That's
I
embarrassing.
thought Al was in as a broadcaster, but they're in as coaches.
When
I
did
take
he
them
play?
out,
When
and
did
I
he
put the
play?
Lopez
Maybe I
brothers.
missed on that one. We'll give the
That's a
Lopez's
miss.
that spot.
What about
Other than
the twin? Those guys were twins who beat people up. What's
the Morrises?
Morris
yeah.
twins could have been in there.
Yeah.
I like them.
Beat people up. It's funny how our memories work, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, we have 5 minutes for Guardians. They are on fire.
Guardians come home
do it.
tonight for an 11-game homestand.
Yeah, big one.
They get 3 with the Red Sox, 5 with the Twins because there's a makeup in there, and then 3 others with the Yankees.
Yeah.
So this is the biggest homestand of the season for the Guardians, who come in percentage points ahead of the Twins. In first place.
This is going to tell us, like the last 2 stops in that road trip, right?
Dodgers, Twins were tough.
4 out of 6.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive. To win 4 to 6 on
18
the
of the last 24.
Amazing. If they have a successful homestand,
Which would be what?
7-4?
7-4?
No, they're home. If
Yeah.
it was on the road, I'd say, but it's tough. It won't be easy to go 7-4.
No, it's going to be really
Especially
tough.
the Yankees are just playing absurd baseball.
Lights out. You can't score on them.
Yeah, I mean, their pitching, that's been the difference.
Yeah.
Their pitching has just been phenomenal.
So you want 7-4?
I want to see that. Listen, if they go 7-4, now we're talking legit playoff team.
Okay, what do you say as they come home in first place?
Well, I just say this, and I'm a firm believer in this, right? And I talked about it earlier. You've got a great manager that understands his personnel.
Mm-hmm.
You've got obviously an excellent scouting team that knows how to get in the weeds and find players, right? And it's so much, again, I believe this team is more eye test than anything else, right? The players, we look at the roster, we're like, well, who is this on the roster, right? Now you're starting to see some of this thing come to fruition. So they come home here and put together a stand here. Now you're talking legit, because 2 weeks ago, everybody here was talking about, the Guardians, this is awful. This awful thing here going here. Now you're talking about something different here.
Yeah, what do you say, G.
Listen, this is the season. To me, this is it right here, because you only get a small amount of time to get people to look at you, right? Right now, there ain't no training camp. Right now, the draft is over for the Cavs. No one's cared about summer league.
It's your time.
You are in the showcase room right now.
And the Red Sox and Yankees in particular coming to town, bring crowds.
Huge draw.
Should be big. Don't let those teams
Even that
fans
Twin
take
series
over.
is going to be big because that's the first place series.
And you get the first place, and you get the marketable teams, right? So you get the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah,
if
you
come out and do your
They
thing,
should average 30,000 a game. They won't.
I would love
but
that.
they should.
Yeah,
with the way they're
I'd
playing,
be happy
the
if they
teams they're
average
playing.
24.
Yeah,
for the 11 games.
But let's go.
That's a quarter of a million
Two
fans.
things got to happen. The fans got to get out there and support this team, and at least watch it on TV, listen on the radio, whatever. But the team's got to help. The players have shown they're in it now.
Yeah.
The team's got to back it up and make an aggressive move for a hitter.
One other thing, because I mentioned this at the top of the show.
Let me cut him for 1 second,
Go ahead.
and then you can finish. This is not like we got a break real quick. Len Barker confirmed next Wednesday.
Oh, awesome.
So
Nice.
Len Barker will
Lenny.
be on the show.
Last guy to throw a no-hitter. It was a perfect game.
Right.
But Cleveland's drought between no-hitters, longest in baseball.
I've talked to him about it. There's some interesting stories about that game.
I can't wait to have him in. It's awesome.
Yep, Len's coming on next Wednesday. Steve Becker, EP, pays our bills, told me to read this text. Don't sleep on Khalifa Diop, their second-round pick. The kid has skills in the 2021 FIBA Under-21 World Cup game. He had 20 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists.
Yeah.
2 steals against the United States team who had Chet Holmgren, Jaden Ivey, Johnny Davis, Patrick Baldwin Jr., and Peyton Watson, all first-round picks.
Did you see his physique?
Yeah.
By the way, for
in the weeds.
My analytics nerds who didn't like the Cavs' first pick liked all their other picks.
Okay.
There it is.
Interesting.
And
Whatever.
one more thing.
Grain
This
of
is
salt.
for Jay.
Yeah.
I got this picture this morning from my dad from the New York Post. Yep, take it, Steve. Take a look at that headline. It's about Lindor Jimenez trade and how
I've been
New York
screaming about
is
it.
severely regretting it. So shout out to my dad for
I'm
sending
glad
that in this morning.
Yep, I've been on that train from the day they made the trade. I said I don't think we're going to regret it nearly as much as people think. The Guardians can't afford to pay one player $35 million.
No.
It would sink their franchise. I don't
agree with that for the record because I think they have a much higher payroll, but right now it looks like a great trade.
No, yeah. Franmil Reyes yesterday. Guardians get the bases loaded, nobody out, 7th inning. Reyes is on third.
Terrible. Yeah.
There's a ground ball to third, and Reyes nonchalantly breaks for home. Now, it's a 1-0 game.
Yeah.
He looked back over his shoulder a couple times to see how the play was unfolding. If he would have hustled and slid, it's my estimation that he would have beaten that play.
That was absurd.
And it would have tied the game. And here's why that overarching point is very troubling to me. This team is scrappy. They hustle. They play hard. I don't know that anybody else on the team I would even consider calling a guy that would dog it. Franmil Reyes, I love this kid. I love him. And I'm glad he's on our team. But we can't see that ever again. And I would imagine that Terry had a talk with him about it. But in that moment, he's got to go all out to home plate. He's got to slide.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there, Jay. I don't think that's indicative of who he is as a player
not.
at all.
That's why I'm bringing
it was a huge mistake.
I just can't understand why he did that.
When you're a base runner in that situation, the second the ball hits the ground,
crack of the bat.
There's nothing. What are you looking at?
No.
You shouldn't be looking at anything.
Ever.
You should be going home and sliding. That's it.
And he
made a
wasn't
huge
even
mistake.
running hard.
I don't know what he was doing there. I don't know. Maybe he had a brain fart of some sort. I don't know what happened. That was terrible. Yeah. I also took, listen, I love Francona. I laud him all the time.
Yep.
But I didn't like there's been a couple of things lately, and I know it's a lefty pitcher,
right.
but it's Caleb Thielbar. It's not like he's a star.
Right.
I can't let Ernie Clement hit in the ninth in that situation.
Well, Ernie he's hitting, I don't know if you know this, but Ernie's hitting like .330 against lefties.
Yeah, I don't care.
So you let it go.
Care. I don't care.
Listen,
I want the better hitters
But the hitter
in there.
before that,
yeah.
Baldelli came out to make the move and was roundly booed by the home crowd. Because he's taking a guy out that's throwing 100 and Cleveland's not even coming close to him. He decides to play the lefty-lefty matchup. But again,
because he didn't want the Guardians to bring in their best hitters who were all on the bench.
Yeah, but
Naylor
the lefty-lefty matchup worked out perfectly because we ended up getting a base hit, and that hitter had like a .350 average against lefties. So I think Rocco should have known that. Well, lefty-lefty, to me, you still have to look at the individual matchup. Mm-hmm. What is the hitter doing against left-handed hitters?
I hear you. Ernie Clement's not a good hitter. Josh Naylor and Steven
Never
Kwan
understood lefty-lefty stuff.
But Clement has over .330 average against left-handed, so I'm going to
let's break that down. Who's he getting those hits against?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't have that breakdown on hand.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I'm just looking at the
I just didn't
body
like
of
it.
work.
They did pinch hit. They pinch hit for Maley, who can't hit.
Right.
The next batter.
Well, that one was easy.
Yeah.
But I think the other
Kwan
ones,
struck out.
You do nitpick Terry
I call it like it is.
No.
If I'm gonna kiss his ass and tell him how great he is.
Are you making those calls
Always.
in the moment?
I would never call him out for something that I thought of after the play.
Okay,
ever.
Good. Yeah, because
ever.
sometimes
I don't believe in that.
When you have the benefit of the results,
no, that's
to
lame
make
to
your
do
case,
that. I would
hate
never
when
do
guys
that. It's something I thought before it happened.
And look,
but I love how they're playing, and I love Terry.
Yeah,
and I
do too.
love the energy the team plays with. A little concerned about Jose's thumb.
Yeah, I am too.
A little concerned about his thumb.
Yeah.
And by the way, Plesac pitched a great game.
Great.
They needed it.
Great game. Made one mistake.
Yeah.
Never should have lost that game yesterday.
Yes, and
Never
some of the
should have lost
others from the bullpen are stepping up too.
Yeah, the bullpen's been great.
Yeah.
Anything else on our checklist? I think we got.
We nailed it. We got it all in.
I got to do a quick final thought.
All right, go ahead.
It's very quick. I want to say
final take.
It was final thought, final take. 13 years ago on this day, it was a Wednesday, June the 24th, 2009. I picked up my wife. It was she wasn't my wife at the time. It was our first date. We went on our first date 13 years ago today.
Wow. How are you going to celebrate?
We're going out for dinner tonight.
Wonderful.
Yes, we're going out for dinner.
You taking them to the comedy club?
You taking them? To Delmonico's?
Burger King.
No, not Delmonico's tonight.
So you're going to dinner before the show?
We're going to an early dinner because my son is going to be out with a buddy of his till like 6 o'clock.
Right.
So we're doing like old man early bird special.
Yeah, early buffet.
You know, his son's hanging out with his significant other tonight.
No, not the girl.
No, he's not.
No. He's hanging out with his buddy.
Okay.
They're going to some place. His buddy's grandparents own like a swings and things type of place.
Oh, okay.
I should know the name of it.
Nice.
I probably should promote it.
Nice.
But anyway, so I love you, Liz, and I would not be here without her. She inspired me to get out of my comfort zone and not be afraid to leave radio, and I'm so glad I did. And so I love you. If you're watching, she's probably not watching right now, but I love you even if you're not watching, and I'll see you in a little bit.
You can click on it later and go right to the end of the show.
That's right.
And show her that. So
That's
you get
right.
some points. We're out of time. Have a great weekend. We are back on Monday. Anything you want to plug quickly for Monday?
Len Barker.
I thought
on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yep. Monday's Tim Couch and Jason back in studio.
All right,
And
very
maybe
good.
Josina Anderson if we can make it
Yeah,
happen.
we're trying to get Josina on.
And my podcast, the debut of my podcast.
Yeah, when is that?
Monday, The Bullpen with Adam the Bull. It's finally starting Monday. And I'm going to be on Cameo to make videos for you, too. I'm doing Cameo. By Monday, we got the Adam the Bull in the Bullpen podcast and me on Cameo. Brad, I'm getting
Locked
you
on
on
Browns
too.
podcast. Locked on Browns podcast. G. Bush.
We're out of time. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.
I'm on my way.
See you later.
Bye.